welcome into this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant. We're broadcasting it live for the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. And it is the grand final show for our 7th week in the Esports Tower. Last week we brought you the action for the semifinals, saw the Southeast Seminoles and Infernos make their way to the grand finals. The Seminoles are fighting to be the first high school team to ever win a Valorant Rumble event. And the Infernos trying to take some free agents all the way to the championship. I'm your host, Michael Fisher. Joining me to call all of the action today is James Fuffy Serpa. And Fuffy, we saw the Seminoles last week. They're a very impressive team. We've also got the Esports Tower Infernos, who are filled with free agents, but names that we've heard of. Who are your players to watch tonight as we get into our Week 7 Grand Finals?
I really enjoy the Seminoles and the team play that they have, but I think their entire game plan is built around Aquin, and I think that's the most important player and the person to watch out for in early round, because they pick up the operator. They just go for all of those openings. On the other side, I would look at Prestige, just a star in every right, and I think that their individual ability could be what carries the Inferno forward. So there's skill to look for on both sides of this one.
And I think the big question you and I were talking a little bit about before the show started is, how can the Infernos contain, handle, match, whatever you want to say, how can they match the opping prowess of Aquin? Because we look at that roster, they don't have a great opper. Prestige kind of comes to the top of the list, but usually been playing Reyna, been playing Sage and Sky with the landslide in previous events. So how are they going to be able to handle not having an opper, at least that we've seen, that's on the skill level of Aquin? Because as you said, Aquin can make a fight a 5v4 just like that.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think that they handle Aquin in that sense. I think that if they win this one, they literally just go to the other side of the map. And really, I think that's going to be their biggest strength, is the fact that Aquin can't be everywhere at once. However, Ossily is another player to look out for, being more of that sort of anchor player. You know, great team play, playing Sky with those flashes, but at the same time, Ossily will just, get two. So if you try to avoid Aquin, you run into Ossily, so really, it's just going to be they have to barrel through with individual skill and both avoid the stars and the team play, which is really why I'd actually put the Seminoles as favorites coming into this one.
Seminoles looked incredibly strong in the bracket stage. I don't think anyone would doubt you, Fuffy, for making that prediction. They rolled through the Monsoons, took down Monsoons Blue, and now they are here against the Infernos. The Infernos, bit of a surprise. A lot of people, from what I've told, did not expect them to make it into the grand finals, thought they might lose to last week's runner-up in the Floods, especially with quite a few free agents, but they are big-name free agents. We already highlighted Prestige. Cozy is a Rumble champion as well, and we have seen Zed Evan, if we play Bind tonight, which we will for Game 2, can absolutely shut down a site with some amazing Cypher play. So it'll be an interesting matchup, but I think you're right, Fuffy. I think from what we saw, the Seminoles have the slight edge. But as we prepare to hop into game number 1, let's toss it over to Doc's Keys of the Game, presented today by Esports Tower. You can score pro advice at esportstower.com. Those are focus your angles and flank, know your win condition, count cards and call abilities, and of course the easiest thing, or maybe the hardest thing in Valorant, and that is click heads. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rank up. Well, let's head in to game number 1. Southeast Seminoles facing off against the Infernos on Ascent, which is a very, very good map, Fuffy, for the Seminoles. They ran that twice last week, and they dominated on it.
Yeah, that's all that they had to play to make it this far, and maybe it's just because they only played that map that their team play looked so darn good, but either way, it doesn't matter, because we're playing that map right now. Looking into it as they are just locking into these agents. We see, of course, Aquin going to be on Jet, going to have that op. The ability to just dash away after going for opening picks makes them so dangerous in the early round. And, I mean, these are just sort of the agents that I would say I'm expecting them to pull out on this. This is what we saw in that run all the way up to these finals from the Seminoles.
And for the Infernos, it's a roster made up of 3 free agents. Only Zed Evan and Kinetic are from the actual Infernos roster. But again, you've got Cozy, you've got Prestige. Those are 2 of the biggest individual names in the Esports Tower. So those are free agents of the highest tier. And I'm very curious to see how Prestige will do as predictably the top fragger for this Infernos roster. We didn't see much of Ali's last week, so we don't really know what to expect from them, because I think Prestige is going to have to go probably kill for kill with Aquin, in, of course, a different sense because you're playing the Jet versus the Reyna. But if Prestige loses out in a 1v1 duel early to Aquin, I think that round just lays in the Seminoles' hands unless somebody else can step up for the Infernos. And they're attacking first, so they'll get a chance to sort of set the tone, and we'll see what they want to do.
Yeah, the tough part for a star player like Prestige is Reyna does great when you get that opening, because then you can, you can retreat, you can heal up, you have so many different options with those abilities. But on the other hand, if a Jett player misses the opening, they can get out of there. So Jett players are rewarded for both winning, and they're not rewarded, but they can nullify the sort of harsh blow of losing a duel and just go for it again.
Looks like we are set up for an early A rush here from the Infernos. We'll see how long they want to stick with that. We might get Ali's and Aquin in mid over on Catwalk, but it looks like they'll just retreat, and we'll see what Prestige wants to do leading the way, but a nice smoke there from Southeast is going to slow that down.
Yeah, they had the audio cue that ult orb was picked up, and so now they've rotated in. There's 4, almost 5 players just about here to surround this site as the hit seems ready to come in. Ollie's is actually the first contact, and Aquin can just dash back away. Now the hit is on. A great dink, but WASD actually getting that pick, healing up. That's the power of Reyna, and as frags trade back and forth, we're even in a 3-on-3.
I like that early damage they got onto Aquin and ended up getting healed up by the Sky, and it looks like now the Infernos, they'll cut their losses. It's a 3-on-3, and we'll rotate over towards B, where Cypher's just been chilling the whole time. And I think they've already predicted this rotation, though.
Yeah, they just seem to be one step ahead of them. The tough part is they do have to spread out because, you can try to predict it, but even then they have to keep Ocelot sort of floating over towards A, which means that if this 3-on-1 predictably goes the way of the Infernos, it's going to have to be a retake. Smoke down in Orbitix's face, and they're just right into the site. There it is. He pushes through, wants to take the fight immediately, and instead losing it. Now it's 2-on-3 for the retake.
Dog's going to come out. It did hit Cozy there, but the spike will go down. Now we'll see what Aquin and Ocelot can do. Ocelot already taking a ton of damage. Aquin with that Sheriff can't quite land a shot. It does get a great pick onto Zed Evan, and now we find ourselves in a 2-on-2. And that's a huge headshot. Cozy, what can you do with the Frenzy versus the Sheriff? And Aquin's going to win that one. Your player to watch already popping off.
Yeah, just not enough ammo, and so Aquin can win that one out. I was doubting a 3-on-2 retake simply because Aquin and Ocelot would struggle in that one. Given that they don't really have an advantage, they could just get traded out. But these are the 2 star players. These are the 2 people that you want alive in the clutch scenario, and they prove it right there.
That's a great turn and a headshot from Aquin. That is some fantastic just crosshair placement. And now, if you're the Infernos, you're just looking for a couple of picks. I mean, anything's possible. We've seen it done before if you get a couple lucky Sheriff headshots, but you're just looking to deny as many Spectres into the bonus round and force out those credits early on. You aren't disappointed if you lose this round if you're the Infernos.
Yeah, it could even just be beneficial to play it really slow and bait out as many abilities as possible. As we see them doing just that for now. Now they're going to group up towards A. Just about a repeat of the pistol round, except this time they're all just here in A main, and WASD is going to realize that real soon. Oh, just getting destroyed by all these abilities, but Zyra has been able to smoke it off, and so they can get 2 picks through that.
And now the Infernos are divided. Cozy has already taken a ton of damage, and you can see Aquin on your map there is actually going to push up mid and is going to look to try and catch the Infernos in a rotation here.
Yeah, smart to not go too far forward, though. Just keep them locked in. Make sure that you lose as few players as possible. Keep that economy good going into this next round.
Dog from Ocelot misses. I love the fact he just ships the judge every round. Aquin's now getting more and more aggressive, but does get spotted out by the sentry. So Cozy will know he's there, but Cozy is one shot, and Aquin will make him pay. And how about back-to-back? And now it's all up to Prestige, and
yeah,
nothing you can do.
This is just confidence building for a player like Aquin to just farm eco frags there, just up against that partial buy, just the investment into a couple of pistols. And now I wonder if Aquin has money to get that operator.
Could potentially.
They were just on a Sheriff in the previous round.
Yeah, that was their Sheriff from round 1. They picked up, I think, 5 frags.
Oh,
they can. And they can get armor. Usually you can't get armor and an op. That is a scary sight for the Infernos.
Yeah, the only way that this could turn into a weakness is if they go so fast that they just get right up in Aquan's face, but no! Instead, just slow peeking in. Aquan, immediately player to watch in the early round, and they pick up that opening. Infernos just sent reeling back, and now they just have to group up with a disadvantage into a site where two of these Southeast High School players sit ready to defend.
Get a dash in from Ali's, but hits the tripwire. Prestige at least trades that one out. Osley's there with the judge, but gives himself away. And once again, Aquan's coming for a flank. If they try and rotate out, they are just sitting ducks for that op.
Yeah, it's a little bit one-dimensional from the Infernos. I mean, it's sort of tough because when they try to go for something a little bit more nuanced, they just start losing picks to players like Aquan. And so now they're just, again, they're stuck, this time in B main. Walking up, and the first point of contact will be Osley. Actually, Zyron sort of baiting in there, but Prestige! Oh, that is the star player to rival that of the Seminoles. Now they have sight, now they have a 3-on-3. This round looking a lot more possible.
Left.
You force a retake with an op, which is always a little bit more awkward. And Zyron is also very lit, so this is going to be tough. Maybe you rip knives here if you're Aquan?
Maybe, but perhaps you could save that for next round if you lose and are broke. Oh, instead just pick up the SMG. Keep going. There's the knives all the way in. Aquan already the first one on the retake, aggressing even more. They jump around the side. They'll go down. Zyron will get one, get two, and that's the retake. Locked in third round for Southeast.
They didn't end up getting a kill, but I do love that Aqua just ripped the knives, right? I love the idea of putting it on cooldown. You might even get, if you get knives in 3 rounds, you could get 3 knives in a half, which would be huge. They saved the op as well with a nice clutch from Zyron. But the Infernos are keeping this close, Fuffy. This is the second time now we've had a B site 3-on-3 that the Infernos just went on, or that the Southeast Seminoles, excuse me, just went on a retake.
Yeah, I think it shows to the patience of Southeast that, you know, things are getting close and that they're winning in these retakes because they're not forcing fights in the late round and instead just waiting until they can group up and go for the retake. But at the same time, this shows that the Infernos, they have enough knowledge of how to use their utility to get into sites.
Prestige, as soon as you grab this alt orb, you are not going to have a fun time. But a great pick by Ali's there. Right outside of Garden, gets the Phantom as well.
Aquan's just stuck here now. Can just about be surrounded unless Osley can be up there to help. Oh, that's the tough part. That's a really good trade, to be able to just burn one flash to get the dash out of Jet. That's a really good trade of abilities and a trade of picks happening over on the other part of this site. Going 1-for-1 and now rerouting the Infernos heading up mid.
Osley right on the other side of that Astro smoke and picks up a great judge pick. It's a blind onto Kinetic as well and ends up picking up the kill. Couldn't find him there. And just like that, it's a 3-on-1 for Prestige. And the spike, unfortunately, is stuck in market.
Yeah, Prestige spent this entire time essentially baiting out everything that Aquan had, and in the meanwhile just lost all of their teammates, and now Aquan is back for revenge after not finding the pick early. Gets it late, and Southeast, they continue this flawless streak.
And as you said at the start, the best way to neutralize Aquan, even though he didn't have too much of an impact, is just go to the other side. They could not even push into A. They had to try and take a pick through mid. And this was a great pick by Southeast to pick Ascent for game 1 because you could just see their dominance on this map. They've had a couple of close rounds, but it's never felt to me like they aren't in control. And that's, by the way, with Osley just running a judge every single round.
Yeah, Osley somehow makes that weapon look just completely meta, which is very strange. Able to combo it with the flash as we saw them before. This is good utility usage. Getting Prestige, they're up really close on Catwalk, and they are just going to challenge Aquan here, and they're going to win it out. Zed Evans landing that shot, and now they have a lane straight into the A site.
Siren's going to rotate up into Heaven. WASD down in Hell looking at A site. So far, no one coming in. They're getting a little bit of damage. They're looking for the plant. Prestige gonna peek. And they're gonna rip the Empress. Needs the healing, so they got to pick up a kill, and they do just that. They pocket the ghost for him as well to get behind Zyron. They pick up a second in heaven, and now it's a 2-on-2 with the Seekers coming out.
This duel is everything. Ocelot, Prestige. Oh, it's actually Orbit that gets it. And with Prestige gone, that was their one fragger getting those 3 kills. Now they just have to ask Cozy to try to clutch it out, but with Spike down, it's going to be very difficult. They're creeping forward, but Ocelot is entirely aware of this angle. Both of them just trading shots back and forth. And the stall game is really all that they need on the defending side. A great flash and even more aggression. I'm surprised that they continue going for this fight.
Oh, they were burning time there. Cozy has got to get a kill because they're not going to get a plant, but they didn't expect Orbit to follow behind. And they just get taken out. But another close round for the Infernos, but that's not really what they want to hear. They want that round victory at this point.
Yeah, the only thing that could be worrying for Southeast is the fact that Ocelot was a little bit over-aggressive there. Sort of put themselves in an untradeable situation. However, obviously time so low that they could sort of afford to do that because Cozy had no idea where that last player in the Cypher was. And now again, just forced down to pistols. Southeast have just an amazing economy game, can buy up everything that they want. And we'll see Aquan go for this same play as they always do. Loves to just check that boost, so aware.
Oh.
In the meanwhile, WAST getting the kill over there in middle.
And that's huge because Ali's had ripped knives that round as well for the Infernos and doesn't get any value. Did you see the Empress did have to get burned for WASD? I don't think that's an awful trade on a eco round to rip the Empress. That Evans is going to get one, but unfortunately, Empress gun advantage, not the spot you want to be in.
Yeah, this is a scary situation if Waz also comes online. You just have so many fraggers on the side of Southeast. And I do want to give credit to Zed Evans actually. Or, no, sorry, to Captain Zyron to be the one to just pop all those smokes. Ooh, popping heads. WASD gets a third before going down. Ocelot is up close to maintain this map control. An amazing flash and even better info as they know they blinded those players in mid.
Cozy did pick up the Phantom.
30 seconds left.
But once again, they're kind of just hanging out here.
Yeah.
They did both pick up ARs for some dead bodies, so they're not outgunned, but that's about all they have going their way. Ocelot is hanging out on A site with the Judge. You probably have to push A with the Spike, I believe, but you also got to move a little bit faster here. They're running out of time.
They've honestly saving this might even be the better option. Running straight in, okay, with that kill, with that immediate plant, they actually have a chance in this one. Spike down.
No!
Oh, no! Looked like 0.1 seconds, the difference on that one. So intense, so close. But they lose it out. Indecision there for the Infernos costs them and gives Southeast a 6th.
I do kind of think that maybe that not being planted, don't know if they would have won the round, that's relevant, but I do think that the save that you kind of hinted they might have done is actually was the better play there. So I like the fact that they did end up saving their weapons. Couldn't quite get a pick onto Aquan, but again, this all really comes down to if they can survive this early mid-aggression from Aquan, who unfortunately gets ended up smoking out by their own team.
Yeah, maybe a little miscomm, maybe just wanted to watch it for a moment for the peak and then smoke and change angles. Always good to be dynamic with the op. I also like this play, just going fast. Ollie is all the way up into sight. The problem is they're going fast into the Judge of Ocelot.
Ocelot even going to avoid the detain. As you said, they just kind of ran into it. Prestige gets a huge pick onto Aquan, gets a second before they finally trade out. And once again, we find ourselves in an even situation. Now it's all up to WASD here.
Yeah. Once they get one kill, they can just dismiss right out of there. So this could actually be a very winnable situation, but it required them to get the pick. And instead, Cozy grabs it, and finally, the Infernos are on the board.
I think we figured out, Fuffy, what the Infernos need to do to win. It's got to be through B. That's where almost all of the close rounds have been. And they need to play fast, but not too fast, because Ali's, I mean, you had the Killjoy ult out. I understand what you're trying to do, get on site, get set up, but you just ran into a guy with a judge because Osley somehow makes that gun look so meta, and that changes your whole push because every time now you're pushing into a judge, which you never are going to expect, ever.
Yeah, it's about speed, setting the pace to get the control, and then essentially it's just about slowing it down after that. What we saw them do in that round was they got the sight, but then they didn't go forward even more. They didn't give up. They didn't give up the advantage that they just worked so hard to gain, that they burned all those abilities to gain.
Yeah, it does look like we were having a little bit of a lag issue there, so we'll get back into the game. It's Grand Finals, Game 1 on Ascent. Seminoles had the 6-1 lead, and it looks like we're back into it. We'll battle through, and oh, they're just going to pop the Rolling Thunder right off the rip. That's going to open the sight, and it's a huge win for Ali's.
Oh, I like this aggression coming out. Ali's, you mentioned that it was a bit of a mistake dashing in, but in that one, it's just important to get the control. Even if they go down, they can just give away exactly where that player is, and they continue to be aggressive. Another kill, a third. Ali's, a name I didn't think I'd be seeing in the kill feed all too often, but comes up crucial to take that site and take a flawless round. The Infernos, they might have just figured things out.
Yeah, they've been so close. That looks like it's going to force an eco round from the side of Southeast High School. And so now the Infernos are getting closer to 6-3. You're building that econ so you can afford to take a loss. And maybe they have figured things out here, and they have done a very good job, which I will say last week we did see teams struggle with just using utility to smoke off Aquin when they had the op. I know that we had an issue with that. So they've used the Astra wall. Sometimes, unfortunately, Aquin's own Omen has also smoked him off, but I do like what the Infernos do to kind of limit his prowess, and they get a great pick onto him with the Marshall on Catwalk.
Yeah, that's a great shot. Really, I'm worried slightly that both of those rounds came off of ultimates to get the site. I think they need their execs to be good even when they don't have all of those ultimates. But right now, this is just an anti-eco that they should be able to clean up. I say should because Prestige has gone down to Osley. Can even flash again, but gets killed by a blind kinetic. WASD is getting one, even spots a second one, upgrades the weapon. And this, because they're in such an advanced position, yeah, they can just drop the spike. Goes for even more, goes down to Cozy, and so Orbit has to win this with just a shorty. I keep thinking this one should be locked in, and finally it is. But every time it feels like these pistols just get the weirdest angles, the weirdest fights. Make it close, get that eco damage, and now this is where Southeast have to respond back if they want to win out this half.
And the good thing for Southeast is they got a couple of picks, so they did hurt the eco a little bit of the Seminoles, but hopefully we'll be able to get back in. It looked like we were playing a little bit of a Microsoft PowerPoint simulator there at times. But yeah, as you're right, they have started to figure things out. But you made a really good point. They need to win a round without an ultimate, and of course that round, not saying it shouldn't count, but you had a massive gun advantage.
That round you just always need to win.
If you lose that round, that we have a lot more problems on our hands. But you're right, they need to show us they can win a round without having to rip. I mean, they had to use the Rolling Thunder. They have had some issues. I mean, I know the Empress got popped a couple rounds ago. They weren't able to win. The Knives got popped, and Ali's just basically fell over. So you're right. What can they do without their ultimates? How can they win in the gun skill? And the one thing is, I mean, I am blown away, and I can't tell if it's how the Infernos are playing or just how Osley plays. I believe he is top fragging for Southeast. Osley is with a judge, which I don't think should ever happen. I don't think.
When you're defending, it's a little bit easier to control the angles that you're going to be taking.
Yeah.
And it's also, they found that success over on B, as you said, and so it makes sense for them to keep going into Osley, which then obviously will feed more kills into that judge. But at the same time, you should just be able to flash them off or, you know, get utility in those close angles. Now this is a close angle. Aquin pushed back right by that Killjoy, but just opts to stay posted on the line and catches Zed on the jiggle, and Osley's right there. The 1-2 punch. Both of these star players combined to get the spike. And this should basically secure the round. Bar Cozy going crazy, and no, can only get one. They even know where Ollie's is. It's a bit over eager. But they should still have this one locked in.
Oh, I love the neural theft.
What?
We'll see if it pays off. Oh, man. Thought that was going to be a crazy clutch for Ollie's, but I do love the usage for Orbits there. I love the fact that we were just use your ults when you have them. This is a great round from Ollie's. As you said, a player who we hadn't seen too much of. There were questions of what they could bring to the table, and even though they don't win this round, that's a phenomenal job. Just getting gunned down, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think they ended up running through where the neural theft said they were. I don't think they actually had any idea. That was just an unfortunate pathing problem there.
I mean, when the neural theft goes down, just immediately dashing, Ollie's essentially making chaos and thriving within it. But a very controlled system from Southeast. The way that Aquin was able to combine there with Ossily, that 1-2 punch, as I called it. They get the operator kill, and then you obviously want to go close against an op, and the shotgun's right there.
I think Aquin heard Ollie's dash in with the knives, and he lines that angle up perfectly and takes him out. But Zed Evans going to manage a trade on the WASD. Looks like Aquin will rip the knives as well, and a great blind there from Prestige. Allows his team to take a site and kind of get set up here.
Yeah, now that they have this, it's another afterplant that we saw them losing in those earlier rounds before they could get that streak of 3 together. Aquin, a kill with those knives, and they can just go aggressive even more. Runs out of ammo, but all their teammates are pushing together. Great team play. A kill apiece. And Southeast, 9-3. This is an amazing half for them.
Phenomenal job by Southeast. Remember, looking to become the first high school team to ever win a Rumble. They get their scent pick on map 1, the only map we've seen them play. They picked up 2 wins last week on it, and they're at least looking like they're heading for a 3rd. And as you're right, I mean, very rarely do you see a Jet miss all of her knives and still not die. And that was a great just team push by Southeast. So second half, 9-3, it's not impossible. Fluffy, what do the Infernos need to do to get back in this game? Maybe at least make it 13-11 or 12-11, and what do they need to do?
They need to make it feel impossible for Southeast. They need their individuals to be so good at locking down sites on their own that Southeast just sort of get deflated. I think you can play off of that confidence, and you have to break it, because if not, Southeast will just keep rolling like they have. The better team play team is obviously going to be the one with the advantage here on this attacking side. But the advantage actually gained by the Infernos as they get 2 picks immediately.
Nice. Get the audible kill on the blind from Ossily. It's another blind, but unfortunately it was a 2-on-1. Aquin is here, though, looking for a pick, but unfortunately can't find it, and that's a great way to start talking about dominating. How about a flawless on the first round?
Yeah, that round was Kinetic, a name that we didn't really see doing too much in the first half. Coming through with a 3K, just really snappy aim as we got to see in the game that they won to qualify for this one. I really enjoyed watching that one, and if they can get that same form in this one, then the Infernos are dangerous.
I want to see another. Flawless is asking for too much, but a 5-for-1 win. And you cannot lose too many people, because then you just give up your bonuses. Kinetic's going to push right through and stops the Hawk, which is huge, but unfortunately they end up trading out 2 for 2 for Prestige. Comes in with a nice pick there at the end.
Yeah, this is big from Prestige, but it's also big with the wrap from WASD. No one's going to expect this position. Prestige just trying to reset, backing up through Heaven. Maybe they find a timing to get WASD. Yeah, that's the timing that they needed. Now the one threat, the one flank has been dealt with in a 4 HP Orbitix. Just going to maybe look for a lucky kill.
For the right click, but as you said, 4 HP. Zed Evans going to win that 99% of the time. And all right, now you're back in an Infernos. Of course, we do get a full buy this time from Southeast, so you're a little bit outgunned in the bonus, but we do get at least 1 upgrade from Ollie's there. And now we get Cozy. And I'm split on this. I mean, you obviously pointed out why Osley is so successful with the Judge. They're pushing through B main. It's very contained. But I don't think you rip something like a Judge if you're Cozy unless you're really, really confident. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think anyone besides Osley can make it work. So it's a kind of an odd choice.
It's an odd choice, but perhaps it's just to save those credits because they need to be able to buy back if they lose a round because they can't afford to really lose that many. It's an interesting fight. I'm not sure who it benefits because it's map control for the Infernos, but it tells Southeast that they can just go to the other side of the map. That A has very few defenders and now none that they get that pick. Spike can go down and this is really rough, really rough. Cozy one back, but this would have to be a 1-on-3 if they want to avoid Southeast getting double digits.
Well, they get the kill onto Aquin and don't take a point of damage. So now it's just a simple 1v2. Spike is down, so you're on a bit of a ticking clock. Gives away their position, gonna shoot that door down.
This is tough. That smoke makes it really tough. They could try to phase through on a timing, but Osley definitely watching it. And yeah, together they crossfire looking right at that smoke. Zyron the final kill in Southeast High School. On to 10 rounds here on their map pick.
Inferno should have enough for the bye though, so we do get one more chance at an even round. And interestingly enough, Aquin will be off the op. Still a very talented player, but I think loses a little bit of that presence when they have to go with an AR. And that should open the map up a bit more for the Infernos, defending at least.
Should open it up a bit. I think Aquin is very scary, sort of in those early round places with the op, because they can just get picks and turn it into a 4-on-5. However, with a rifle, that means that Aquin can be a lot more versatile, which is a look that I'm going to say Aquin can definitely take.
Oh,
this time, though, they run into Prestige, yeah. Prestige gets him. Kinetic gets that one, traded out. The trades are just perfect. I love the fact that when one person gets a pick on the Infernos, they are immediately silenced by Southeast. And this keeps them in the advantage. And now an advantage after plant, getting that spike down. And Cozy has to clutch again. The struggles of being a B anchor, just having to come retake A over and over.
So tell me if this looks familiar. About the only difference is that it's WASD, not Osley, who's alive, but they do have that Empress rolling. Does now fade, so best chance here for Cozy up in heavens. Got one below them. And then you got WASD on site. Just saw the glimpse of Reyna, but time is now the bigger issue.
This has to be a save.
You probably got one chance, and if you can't get a pick, yeah, you got to either bail out on a save or...
Yeah.
Though you might have kept him around long enough.
Last player standing.
You got WASD. I mean, it's not the greatest trade, but at least you took out one.
Yeah, their economy is still going to be great given how many rounds they've been winning.
So now the Infernos will have to eco here. At least, yeah, eco here. They'll have a bye if they lose on match point.
I would almost rather go for it.
I don't know if they have the eco here. It's the other problem since they just lost.
Yeah, but get something, because if you lose this one out and then you force again and you lose that, at least this map is done and over with and you can focus on the next one instead of prolonging what seems like the inevitable as another opening for Southeast. The better weapons getting that pick. And now they just have to group up and hit a site where they have this advantage.
Got 3 Sheriffs and a Spectre here for Zed. Evan gets caught, looking away. Probably was looking for a spot to hit utility. Gets picked off. The Dog's not able to get Kinetic, but Zyron will, and it's all up to Prestige with the Sheriff.
Maybe you get ego frags here. That's what I like to call them, where, you know, you're probably not going to win the round, but, you know, if you get a nice shot like that onto a fellow star player like Aquin, it'll make you feel better heading into this next map. And I think that's where they should just put all of their focus now. Just wipe the slate clean. Yeah, Southeast is really good on this map, but just try to get them next time, guys.
And I'm excited because we have not seen Southeast on any map but Ascent. and we will have to see them on another map. I don't think we'll let them pick Ascent 3 times for the grand finals. So now we'll see how they can do on a map. I'm sure they're not just a one-trick map team, though that would be hilarious. But the Infernos do get one more chance. They get a full buy. And they have 2 decently high-valued ults in the Astra Wall and the Empress to pop.
Yeah, I mean, might as well use it all here. Back against the wall. WASD, this is a precarious position. But they seem actually pretty comfortable in it. Yes, blinded by the flash, but still going for openings all the way up into mid. And actually, Cozy getting that one means the Infernos have the advantage.
Seekers did come through. There's the knives by Aquin. Prestige just saw the head of that jet, but none of the knives able to land, and Infernos now have to rotate over to retake on A, though Southeast isn't that well set up just yet.
Not yet. This is where it's all down to individuals of Southeast to try to hold this site on their own. Ossily grabbing one there on to Kinetic, one for Aquin. And now the advantage is gone. The Defender Killjoy popped. And this might just be it for map 1. Zyron gonna go for something. Might as well ult all the way up there. Spotted out. And Ali's picks him. So Ossily now actually has to clutch one-on-one here as they get that pick. Ali's there on the spike. Ossily up forwards. Yes, they get it, but that should be the spike going off. And Southeast High School are your winners here in map 1.
That was a phenomenal job by Southeast. You know, going at it alone can only get you so far. Ultimately, if you want to increase your chances of success, you have to level up your teaming skills. We saw that on display from Southeast several times, pushing in as a team, buying time for each other. And that's how they were able to take game 1 and put themselves on match point. The Esports Tower, though, they take time to create teams of well-matched teammates. I think the Infernos are going to give them a run for their money now that they don't get their comfort pick in Ascent. I do want to give a shout-out to all of the coaches. If you're watching, you haven't checked out Esports Tower Clubs yet, you should. It is the fast track to rank up. Next up, it's game number 2 of our grand final. Southeast Seminoles on match point. Fish and Fuffy here caught all of the action. We head to Bind. Before we go to break, Fuffy, what do you think Bind can do for the Infernos to force us to a winner-take-all game 3? What do you like that maybe it neutralizes against the Seminoles, or what do you think they have a reasoning for behind picking Bind? Besides, we know that we've seen Zed Evans in previous Rumbles pop off on this Cypher.
I would really say that what the Infernos need to get going on Bind is they need to have their executes a lot more tight. They need to be able to smoke off those angles, negate the individual power, and once they have that, then once they have that spike down, that's when they can let their individuals shine. Because right now, the team play has to be there for these free agents that they have to really do their best work, and perhaps when they're on a map that can lend itself to be a little bit easier for team play. It doesn't have as many complex angles, perhaps, as Ascent does. Then they can get things going and get a lot more into their comfort zone.
Well, we will take a quick break. When we come back, game 2 of our grand finals for week 7. The Southeast Seminoles are on match point, looking to become our first ever high school team to pick up a win. We'll go to Bind and see if they can get it done, or if the Infernos can get us to a game 3. It's all coming up right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back to this week's broadcast of the Esports Tower Rumble in Valorant. We're broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It's the grand finals of Week 7, Game 2. The Southeast Seminoles dominated in Game 1 on Ascent. Look to close out in the grand finals. Be our first ever high school champion. Fish and Fuffy here calling all of the action. But there are two big things. One we knew and one we learned in the middle of our commercial break, Fuffy, that are going against the Seminoles. One, we've never seen them play any other map. Again, I would assume they're just as good on every other map, but we've only seen them play Ascent. But we did get a bit of a tip from Orbit of the Seminoles saying, at least in his opinion, they're very good on every map except Bind. So that might lend to maybe why the Infernos picked this map and maybe how they get back in this series.
Yeah, perhaps a counter pick, perhaps just a little bit lucky that this happens to be the map that they're comfortable on for the Infernos. But
yeah,
either way, this could shift the scales. All of that confidence built up in map 1 after taking a little bit of a break between the two maps, going into the next one. I know I've played best of 3s myself. It's tough to keep things carried through, and sometimes you sort of forget map 1 or you get reminiscent of map 1, like if only things could have been as good as that. So if things go wrong, everything could shift towards the Infernos. We'll just have to see.
Before we hop into game number 2, we do want to take a moment to congratulate all of the Esports Tower Club members who have graduated from the clubs and have been offered scholarships across the country over the last 3 months. Esports Tower Club members have received over $1.2 million in scholarship awards. These students have not only worked hard on their in-game play, but have worked hard academically as well, and have earned these scholarship opportunities. We could not be more excited and proud to see all of the opportunities that these players are getting. Game number 2 is on Bind. As we said, the Seminoles came out swinging, put together a pretty dominant win on Ascent, but now we'll see what they could do on Bind. As we said, we've never seen them on anything off Ascent. Orbit comes in, lets us know, hey, we think we're really good at every map. I would say pick Fracture, you cowards, then, if you say you're that good on every single map, because I have not seen enough Fracture to keep me satisfied. But I think the other thing for Bind, and I know, every Jet main is going to tell me I'm wrong, it's not the most influential map. There's not as many openings, especially if you're attacking. Defending, you can get a little bit on A site, but I think that's something else that might have been why they picked Bind. You kind of neutralize Aquin's op usage here on Bind.
Yeah, this is one of the best examples of what I said in that pregame, where essentially, if you know where Aquin is, just go to the other side of the map. Jump into like a teleporter or whatever and just boom, boom. And you can just avoid them entirely. This map is cut into so many segments that one smoke will completely negate a player. And so it becomes a lot easier for them to just split the map into pieces.
And a couple interesting things that changed from our lineups. We'll get Prestige on the Sky, which he's played a lot with the landslide, so that's a very good comfort pick. I talked about it at the Open. If there's a map that Zed Evan is known for, it is the Cypher A-site defense on Bind. Yes, you heard me right, the A-site defense. And we'll also get Ali's on the Reyna, which is very interesting because they're such an aggressive player. While I understand if you get a pick, you can pop the Ghost Form and get out. I feel like without that dash, they might find themselves, up a creek without a paddle, because they're not going to have an escape unless they get a kill.
Perhaps. Maybe the flash will be something of use. The fact that they have 2 flashes that they can deploy into this one could be useful right now. Just going to be an execute. I like this look for them, they seem to know what they're doing here. Slowing it down, lining up their util, clearing it out piece by piece, taking this control. And now they can get ready to go in. The only difficulty is Southeast have already all rotated.
Osley is so good with his utility. Lands a dog, lands a double blind, ends up picking a kill onto Ali's. Kinetic will go down as well, and unfortunately, Prestige had to jump through that teleporter to avoid dying to Osley's on the blind, so he's kind of all by himself, and the rest of his team's still trying to take over A.
Yeah, just stuck out in no man's land, having to slowly do the walk of shame back over here to A. And they have to get an opening pick, but none of these fights are being given to them. Perhaps the wallbang could come through, but yeah, not even that cam really getting them anything.
The cam might have seen the Omen smoke from heaven if they didn't know Omen was up there. They do get a couple of dinks onto him, but Zed Evans takes a ton of damage. Is at least just going to look for the spike plant, but cannot find it. And that is a flawless start for Southeast on their quote-unquote worst map.
Yeah, they say it's their worst map, but solid into this first one. Perhaps they're just not as familiar with this attacking side, and that could be where, you know, they say it's more of a weakness. But on defense, I feel like on any map, as long as your protocols, as long as your team play is proper, you rotate when you're getting that information, you play off of each other, which I think if you can do that on one map, you can do that on any map. Then I think you're set in a game like Valorant.
We'll see what the Infernos can do in round 2. I mean, anything is better than how you started. Of course, you are going to be outgunned. I don't like full committing in bathrooms because there's not a way out. You can't take a teleporter out like you could on B. So I'm not a big fan of this, and they're going to lose Prestige right off the rip, and a ton of damage is going to go out onto Kinetic as well as Ali's.
Yeah, they're just sort of getting torn apart. Zed Evans catches a nice timing to get through here. Gets up behind. The thing is, they don't know that Zyron is there on the side. Catching that one. Now these Bathrooms players just completely stuck, getting mowed down. Does Zyron even go for this ace? Already the 3 kills for Southeast for this Omen player, and I guess they're smart enough to not just over-aggress for all of them.
Now you go for it, though.
Now you go for it. Now you got flashes from your teammates. Oh, that's the problem. That's the struggle with going for it. Osley's there to clean it up. They're all probably just laughing about it, having a good time so far, at least for Southeast.
There's nothing more frustrating than you're on the 4, you're looking for the ace, and you walk into a ghost right-click.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
Cozy had to know, like, oh, that's a 4th for Zyron. I can see it up there. I'm just gonna sit here and play the spoiler, deny that ace from coming through.
Well, what a start for Southeast. Flawless, a near ace. We talked about this map being not a great op map, but Aquan's got one anyway on B long, which pretty much renders that one useless.
This is a tough one because the way that they're using util here for the Infernos gives away exactly where they're going, but they just turn up the pace. So the rotates probably won't even be here in time. That being said, they don't need rotates. Aquan and WASD both hitting their shots, getting their picks, and even getting away through that telly.
Good news is...
Yeah, now the rotates activate.
Well, and Aquan's stuck on that other side of the telly, so it's only a 1v2 here for Kinetic. Only, I say, of course.
Yeah,
but
only, but they're just getting flashed back more and more.
Oh.
Osley lets it fall into a 1v1, but WASD right there for the trade. 3rd for Southeast.
Didn't even punish. That was a great dash, by the way, by Aquan through the teleporter. A bit selfish, if you will, but a nice way to stay alive. And
yeah,
now that was your buy round for the Infernos. So
yeah, I mean, if you're Aquan and your weapon costs that much, it's important to be selfish with it. To just get out of there, stay alive, let your rifles do the hard work. You got your opening pick. You can just blame it on them afterwards.
Well, the Infernos were hoping for a comeback. This is probably not how you draw it up. And now Aquan just misses Kinetic, but dashes away to safety. Did get blinded there, and that's a great play by Prestige to blind the op.
Yeah, amazing flash. And Osley with the shotgun. Actually, this is a great position to have it in. Just being here up close, teammates to cover all around, peeking forward, but actually loses out to that pistol. Kinetic's picked up the op to get one. And the Infernos have the advantage. Spike not down yet. When they plant that, it will be sort of even in a 2-on-2 because one player is busy doing it. So that might be the time the Southeast decide to hit the go button.
Planted the spike.
Instead, they're just going slow and steady, hoping that they can win this race. But instead, Ali's 4K in the round and an amazing thrifty win for the Infernos.
Well, I mean, that was phenomenal by the Infernos. As you said, the thrifty win. It starts with a great blind. I think Osley has been putting on a clinic the last 2 weeks in this Week 7 Rumble of how to play Sky and Prestige match that with a great blind. And then Ali's on the pistol round, gets the 4-piece. Maybe Osley, it's time to give up the judge dream. You probably win that fight in U-Haul if you just have an AR or a standard gun and you're not trying to judge somebody across the hallway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they even got one shot off, but just the spread didn't happen to hit enough pellets into the head.
Ooh.
Just the struggle. They get the info, and yeah, punish right onto orbit. They can heal right back up. That's the advantage of healing, is that you go for a fight, you win it, and then you just reset. Now you have a pure advantage into this round, an advantage into this site take. Ali's has everything, all the information. Over there in elbow, Cozy getting one. There's only one player left here to defend on the site. Another actually slips in, that's WASD. And they do have the spike. This is getting dangerous.
WASD has the Empress rolling. Needs a kill for the reset, but goes down. And Kinetic, I was a little worried. I was like, you swapped to the op, but they end up picking it up in what I thought was looking like it was going to be 5-0 Southeast is now 3-2 in favor of the Infernos, with a couple of great picks onto some members of Southeast and some great play by Ali's.
Yeah, Aquin can get really aggressive. They can get up close and then dash away, but other agents don't have the same liberty to do so. And that means that, you know, they can go ahead and pick onto Orbit, who was just completely vulnerable there, completely owned by the abilities, found out right where they were, and just picked him off. The opening this time, that's Aquin. That's Aquin right there with the operator.
Scout destroyed.
Making it work even on a map that you pointed out isn't the strongest op map.
Ali's does get the headshot, though, onto Aquin, and that's going to open up potentially the operator. I do believe it's still in Kinetic's hands for the Infernos. We'll see who picks it up for Southeast, but they're just going to hard rotate over through Hookah and onto this B site. But anytime there's a Cypher on bind, B site is basically unobtainable. Blind isn't going to be able to land, but the Astra smoke will cut off Orbit from that site.
They're not ready for Zyron close.
Orbit pushes through. So 1-on-2 though.
B.
Osley now has the op. Interesting choice.
This is going to be a tough one because with this op, yeah, you really can't. You can't take a shot in a 1-on-2 unless you know you can back up, because that op can only kill one player at a time. So it's one of the weaker weapons for clutching, despite being one of the strongest ones for finding picks.
And this is just a phenomenal blind by Osley. Again, they have put on a clinic of how to use Sky utility. You get a great blind onto Kinetic. There's nothing they can do up at Hookah. But you do have 5 ults for the Infernos. You could obviously start with some Seekers if you get an early pick. You also have the ability maybe to throw out that Neural Theft. I like their chances here. And maybe even you use the Astra Wall to cut off Aquin, who just took that teleporter and is on a flank in bathrooms and picks up 1.
What is this play? Aquin just so aggressive on the defending side. Up into that teleporter, just a thorn in the side of the Infernos. And as soon as they lost that first pick to Aquin, now every trade that they go for leaves them in a disadvantage. 2-on-3. Prestige and Cozy, though, are 2 players I would not write out. 2 free agents that have come and joined this team with a lot of star power, slowly getting surrounded by the various members of Southeast. Cozy shuts down one. Prestige, there it is, 2 clean headshots, 1 apiece, and now Captain Zyren in a tough spot, found out, and they can just go to the other side of the map, teleport right through, and now they just get that spike down, keep Zyren stuck in that teleporter. At least he can ult out. Decides to ult over to elbow. Gives away his position with the flash, just running in, but the alarm bot finds him, and Prestige gets the last kill. That is a great clutch. I would say a clutch, just really a 2-on-3 conversion.
I'm speechless of Aquin's aggression. Very rarely do you see an Hopper go through the B to A teleporter and shoot someone in the back going to bathroom. It doesn't end up working out, and now Southeast has to eco, and this has been a great job by the Infernos. Even though it's 4-3 in Southeast's favor, you expect this round to go the Infernos' way, and this is a huge blow to Southeast because a lot of those rounds they've won have been playing aggressive off of gun advantages. Now there's Knives and Hookah, though. Still a very scary place for Zed Evans and company to push through. But might see it on the camera, never mind.
Spike down. B.
Nice trade.
Done. That's important. Stop the Knives from getting anything more. Every single pistol player here, it's going to be a brawl on B site, but that Killjoy ult should keep them back, keep them contained in the back of the site.
Nice pick on to Zyren. And Osley goes down as well, and complete control of the site in a free plant, and Orbit might look for a flank, but again with the pistol, you're very limited in what you could do. As they go down, it's all up to WASD, and I think the Infernos realize they just can wait. They don't need to force WASD to come in, but that's a great pick.
Yeah, perhaps even save this weapon. Maybe I'm just a little bit too save happy, but I definitely agree that the money can be so important. You might as well keep it. Yes, you can do a little bit of damage, but the attacking side with the spike down, with the round win, have plenty of money. And there we go.
I'm with you. I look for a save and maybe go through your spawn and look if you can get an exit frag. Because, again, I don't know if you're winning a 1v3 there. As WASD, though, he has been top fragging for the squad, so that maybe leads to the confidence. But a great pickup there for the Infernos. A little bit scarier than I thought it might be. And they do grip a couple of those ults. They use the Killjoy ult. So they still have the Astra Wall. And it's all about Kinetic predicting where Aquin's going to be. If he thinks he's going to be looking down A main, you've got to Astra Wall off A main. If you think he's going to be looking down B long, that's where you've got to throw it, because that Astra Wall is a great counter to the op.
Yeah, and this is what the other utility can be used for, too. Throw down a Cypher Cam, use one of those flashes, and once you find out the info, then you get to just rip out the big abilities, the ultimates and the like, that can just win you rounds. Kinetic gonna drop the smokes, but Zyren in response smokes off bathrooms. They're just up, and they are collateraled. Aquin grabbing both of those. And that just immediately sets the Infernos in a horrible spot.
They are going to get aggressive, though. Zed Evan gets one. Aliza's in U-Haul, has Osley's waiting there on the other side with the Judge. And Cozy immediately makes it a 3-on-3. The Empress is going to get ripped here. You can see Osley's waiting with that Judge. Looking for a pick. This is a great job by Zed Evan. Huge rotate. And Zed Evan basically single-handedly wins that round for the Infernos.
Yeah, just they're not ready for the aggression. They expect, you know, maybe some smokes to be put up and Spike gets planted, but instead they realize that they can just wait. They can be patient on that one. Push in, as we see in this replay. Zed Evans he just gets to go forwards and pick them all off. They're not ready for that advanced position.
Started off with doing basically the same thing to get a pick onto WASD. Doesn't get again to get another pick, but again, of course, the highlight of the round still goes to Aquin, who, even though it's not an op-friendly map, as we mentioned, picks up the collateral, which is always an impressive thing in Valorant.
Op pretty much good on every map. It's just a matter of how good. Osley, good counter flash, a good push forward, and sprays down 2. They can get doubles just like Aquin can. However, in this round, Aquin won't get a say into things. Picked off, and they're into the site. Osley onto a third, and that leaves the Infernos with just Zed Evan. We say he saved that last round. Will he save this one here on the B site? Creeping forward, revealed, blinded, and dealt with a thrifty W for Southeast High School.
As soon as that cam landed onto him, you knew there was nothing Zed Evan could do. And it's really hard to pick who's going to pull away, because I feel like as soon as I feel like the Infernos have taken the advantage, Fuffy, they lose a round like that on a thrifty. But Southeast is struggling to put them away. Aquin is getting value, as you said, but did get picked off early on. It's hard to have a lean. It feels like we're headed towards a 6-6 half here.
Yeah, it's tough for Southeast because it seems like it's their individuals that are winning this one, not their team play, whereas on that map of Ascent, it was the team play that really came through for them, which means that things might be rough when we swap sides onto the attack. Right now, Aquin making it rough for the Infernos, an opening kill. Prestige looking for information, Waz getting another pick. And again, it's a 3-on-5 for the Infernos to try to claw back.
Now it looks like they will just simply rotate towards B, where Orbit is waiting with all of his utility. And it looks like that's going to be predicted. WASD is going to take the rotate over, and I would assume Osley and Zyron are in short pursuit here.
Slow and steady, walking up. They have all the map control given to them, but Southeast is happy to give this up, because once they get the info, they just rotate in. A 3-on-3, a bit strange to see in a site hit. Usually the attackers have the advantage to make up for the lack of positioning. The fact that they have to just push forward straight through smokes right into the awaiting arms of WASD. Osley will get shut down, but that is all the Infernos can find. 6 rounds on the board, and this decides whether we have an even 6-6 half or whether we get a team pulling ahead.
Man, if you're in the Infernos, if you can get to 6-6, that would be huge the way this has gone. I mean, you won 5 of 6 rounds there in the middle and then just have struggled ever since that thrifty. Now Zyron's going to pull out the Odin and try and just spray through A-Main.
I mean, the Infernos on attack have it's probably been their weaker side, so this would make sense then. That they'll be very happy with this half. So much of a fight, such a good flash. Osley gets 2, throws down the dog once, even more. I think they should teleport out of here, but like, they're confident. Everybody's confident from Southeast, and it's only Ollie's left alive. Oh, wow. Great round from Southeast. They get the advantage going into the second half.
Not only is that a great round, but think of just how much of a mental killer that is. You get double killed by a judge on a huge triple blind from Osley. You have Ali's there just walking into the Odin spray. I mean, that's a mental killing round where you just kind of look at your team and you say, man, what do we do here? Because we lost to a judge in an Odin spraying through the wall.
I guess what they do is they say, well, let's see if they'll do it on attack. You know, you just pretend like it's an entirely new game. The first half doesn't really matter. Yeah, you're a little bit behind, but you've got enough rounds to keep competitive. And now that we swap over, they can build confidence on their defense. It's an interesting default, the way that they're playing this. 1-2-2. Letting Aquin just look for information and grab a pick. And now that they get that opening, Infernos are confused. They see contact all over the map. But A is the main point of attack. WASD already into sight with Osley. Another flash up close, a headshot. And they're making things work. Southeast on to win this pistol round.
Cozy and Prestige, if it's ever a duo to pick up a 2v4, this is probably who you'd want.
It's Ali's.
Oh, it's Ali's, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I got caught there. Ali's and Cozy will just go down. And that was the one thing I was going to bring up is the Infernos, the one maybe small advantage they had is they do run a unique bind defense because you have Zed Evan on the Cypher holding down A, not B, as we saw from Orbit and you see from 90% of Cyphers, but that didn't even cause a hesitation from Southeast on that round.
Yeah, A has got a lot of interesting places that you can put down that Cypher utility and become really annoying. It's such an open site that one camera can cover everything. So that's going to be, that's sort of a boon to have your Cypher there on that site and the off-meta piece of it. And the fact that they do also have a Killjoy to take the other side of the map. The problem is they're just losing picks. Kinetic does get one back. Wait, that's the spike.
That's a huge pick. Though Siren did end up sneaking in and picking it up through the Astra smoke. Gets a random spray through the smoke onto Kinetic. Oh, Osley getting some of their own medicine as Prestige picks up 2 with the judge. And it's all up to Aquin, who, of course, echoing for that op, is only going to have a Sheriff.
This is the struggle. Usually you say, I'll just play with my team, I'll keep the Sheriff, have good money to get that op later, but right now, that means you have to clutch up with this weaker weapon, and you have to fight up close against a shotgun. Really just, yeah, not the kind of duel you want to take. Prestige doing their best Osley impression. Sky with a shotgun, making it dangerous.
Now the question becomes, can Aquin, Aquin can't buy the op. So now they're stuck with the Marshall, though. Southeast's in the bonus, so
yeah,
nothing too crazy.
Call it a Marshall partial.
I mean, you got 3 pistols. You only got 1 Spectre in the bonus. That is a win if you're the Infernos right now, because this feels like what should be an easy round based off the guns alone.
I mean, if they can use these weapons to do some damage, that could be something. Instead, they're just taking damage. Ali's a great headshot. Zyron makes contact. The one-way popped. That'll show their feet, but they don't get any vision. WASD, that's the damage I was talking about. At least getting 1. They make this costly and will have money to buy in the next one. That is their goal. We'll see if they can reach it.
They're all going to relocate over towards A. Aquin will pick up the Alt Orb and see what damage they can do with the Marshall. Zyron and Prestige kind of stare at each other. Oh, Zed Evan didn't hit a single shot there, actually.
Yeah. I mean, they can just play this slow and steady. Just wait it out. They have to come to you, and I mean, pushing forward with the Marshall is always awkward. A classic, even more awkward. Yeah, wallbang through from Kinetic. A nice 3-piece from them. And the Infernos get a nice round. They keep enough players alive for their economy to be good. Southeast keep enough credits in the bank for theirs to be good. And now we see a real gun round. This is the test for the Southeast attack, to see just how good their bind is.
Very curious where Aquin goes with this op on attack. It looks like they're going to go Bath and maybe try and catch out somebody getting aggressive towards that Alt Orb where it looks like it could be Ali's. And we'll see. Ali's has got to be very, very careful here.
Yeah. Oh, spike down and Aquin's even missed. Great work from Ali's. He throws caution to the wind. Now even gets that flash in. They know where Aquin is. Aquin forced to dash back, and they still have the spike in their control.
Could not have drawn that round up better to start for the Infernos, but as I say that, Ali's now will fall to Aquin with the op. Kinetic is still there, but is going to get double smoked and trying to hold vision to that spike.
I kind of like the aggression there, but I think they needed some kind of ability to combo it with. They needed a flash that would actually stop these players, because instead, Aquin's op gets another one. Relatively close range, but still making it work. And now there's 2 players waiting on these close range angles. It's going to be Zed, Evan, and Cozy together. Zed, Evan blinded, and then blinded again as they're coming in. Aquin, another one, making this op sing out. And Southeast, they've got 9 rounds.
I agree with you that they needed a flash, but I almost think Kinetic needed another teammate there on the flank, which it looks like that's kind of where Zed Evans was heading, because all 4 members were right on top of that spike. They needed either Cozy or Zed Evan to get a bit more aggressive if Kinetic wanted to hold that long hallway in Bath against an op.
This is a nice spot.
Felt like that communication again. 3 free agents on this Infernos roster, so maybe still working things out. Trying to avoid a sweep here in a grand finals.
Yeah, it's always tough to sort of be playing with a new team, a new squad. I know it takes really months to build up that chemistry in attack FPS on every single map. You've got to play officials, got to play scrims, got to have lots of practice time in the server, even just dry running things. Right now, it's just a slow default for the side of Southeast. Orbit has gotten up a little bit close, but this is a worrying position given the fact that he doesn't really have a lot to get out. The cage, that will be something, but so much spam through it. Odin proving dangerous. That is Zed Evan, as you pointed out before, and Ali's Reyna on Reyna action, getting that opening kill, and Aqua not able to respond. Misses their own op shot, reveals their own position as the rest of the team rotates in, and they're going to hit this B site.
How fast can the Infernos catch this is going to be huge, because all 4 members of Southeast have made it over towards B, and they're going to be able to get this plant down, but Cozy predicts the jump up. The op at least gets a trade, delays the spike a little bit, and Zed Evans will pop the neural theft. And that is huge. And that's going to basically leave the rest of them sitting ducks. Osley gets just 1, but the Infernos keep it close once again.
Yeah, and keeping it close means that they might even be lacking an op in the next round. Not a ton of credits for them, I would assume. And so this could be an interesting decision. This is where Southeast, they obviously want to keep their advantage, but they have to do that while fighting with weaker weaponry.
It's like Aquin has the knives, so
That's
most
something.
likely we'll rip that, and it looks like we'll get 3 ARs and a Spectre for the rest of the team, so they'll more or less be on similar levels.
Yeah, I would say that this round comes down to how much space can Aquin make with these knives. Just looking to essentially hold W, find as much as they can, just follow this ultimate all the way into the site, knowing where it will reveal players. They can just dash in. There it is. A right click. Now they upgrade to a weapon, and that is space created. That is a spike planned, and that is a 5-on-4. Make it now a 4-on-4 with Zed Evans getting that one. But Aquin up in the middle of things, the jumping shorty, and somehow all the picks have gone the way of the Infernos.
It's just WASD alive, and as I say that, I jinx it. Zed Evan picks up the kill, and a great start for Aquin, as you highlighted, Fluffy. They get the right click with the knives, they get the gun. It's a 5v4 for a brief moment, but the jumping shorty out of heaven by Kinetic is the difference maker. Yeah. And it's 9-9.
I think they just sort of relaxed a bit too much. They got into sight. They were like, all right, we have this. I don't really see that many people there. You know, we've picked Cozy. And as soon as they do that, they start planting. They're just completely surrounded. Infernos just picked the perfect timing to turn up their own counter-aggression.
Oh, this is a nice. This goes here.
And now they tie it.
This is interesting. We're getting both the Killjoy and all of the Cypher utility on B. They're basically predicting a B push for Southeast, and if Southeast gets an A push, which will be stopped by the fact that they lose 2 immediately on A, that could have been a different game. So a great use of getting aggressive on A main and in the bathrooms, because everything is over here. This is almost an impossible site to take with all the utility they have.
Yeah, I think A is a lot more of a retakeable site, so it makes sense to stack your strongest defensive pieces on B. It's sort of, if you're going to be cycling smokes and that sort of thing, you want to be doing it over on B to delay a hit. Because on A, you just save that util and you can just retake back in with how wide it is, with how you can maintain places like U-Haul as just amazing defensive options. Prestige spotting a player walking by. Flash onto him. This is just going to be a battle of the flashes. And it looks like Osley has lost it, whiffing that flash. Another one going to be ineffective. So Prestige just keeps them locked in. Going to be able to probably just finish off these last 2 players. Oh, Waz gets one. That's something, and you know, more damage, the more the merrier at this point.
Hold this, you look for an exit frag. Barely lands the shots onto Ali's, and maybe now with the Empress available, plans change.
Perhaps. I would say if they get one more pick or if they get spiked down, popping the Empress would make a lot of sense.
I don't know if they get there in time.
10
They're
seconds
hustling through bathroom.
Yeah, just pull that knife out, pull that candy cane out,
They're going to get it.
plant it. You've got to flash out of this position, though, and you're going to be surrounded. There's the Empress. Now they just have to go for fights. They have to fight while these Infernos players are split up because now they bunch together. Now the trade should be imminent. I say should, but WASD actually getting that one. Able to dismiss back through the smoke. A second one dismisses again. They're into a one-on-one now. Shots missing all over the place, but it's an ace for WASD.
They went from hiding in a corner looking for a save on the AR to an ace and putting their team now 3 rounds away from victory. That could not have been a bigger momentum swing in 45 seconds, Fuffy, than what we just saw.
Just a little bit too over-aggressive. I think that was Ali's or Kinetics that pushed into them. No, it was Ali's that pushed into them after Prestige went down. They gave away those 2 picks and set WASD up for an amazing clutch. Just fighting in the midst of everything, using those abilities perfectly, and of course hitting the required headshots. Now the money for Southeast is back, set up nicely, op in the hands of Aquin, and a pick onto Ali's.
Orbit's gonna win that huge trade. Aquin gets one more. This is looking like a disaster for the Infernos. Kinetics gotta win this gunfight, but off the ace. WASD is not going to miss, and it's all up to Zed Evan, and it's a tough task. And
yeah,
all their utilities already burned on A as well.
It's got to be a mentality killer.
No hard feelings.
It's a huge pick onto the op. Make it 2.
Ooh. All right, we can't see another clutch, right?
It's a lot harder on a Cypher than it is on Arena.
They do have the ults.
I think you just rip it here.
You might as well. At this point, like, you want that momentum back, you might as well try it, but WASD to deny. And Infernos, they're going to be looking back in this map. They're going to be looking back at that one round that they gave away to the clutch, just wondering why, what happened, what went wrong?
Turret out.
Are they going to commit to the half buy on 11?
I kind of like this, you know, keeping 2,000 credits on each person means that, you know, even on round 12, it's not going to be just the complete sort of deflating, oh man, we've got pistols in last round up against it all, that sucks, you know? And they still have a decent chance to win this one out.
Couple of Spectres, you see a couple of shorties and Hookah. Dog for Prestige can't quite land. Let's take a little bit of damage to see if they can land a blind.
That opening is crucial.
Flashes themselves, unfortunately.
Yeah. Last round, we saw Orbit actually getting the first pick, but this time, Orbit goes down first. Aquin, in the face of it all, getting an ult orb, coming up close range. Oh, the battle sniper loses it out, gives Zed a double, and leaves Ossily in a clutch situation. I would say, though, this spot is actually a little bit stronger than we saw WASD in before. They made that winnable, so I'm not going to count him out of it just yet. Walking up close. The tripwire is going to be a tough one for them to deal with. Have to give away the position. There's a player up close that can even pop the Cypher cage. And yeah, spray right through from it. Zed Evan, a 4-piece locking down bathrooms in the Infernos. They grab double digits now. They've basically fixed their economy, and they make this competitive again.
11-10 Infernos with a Killjoy ult. They've also got the Astro Wall if they want to maybe rip it. Haven't seen the Astro Wall, I don't think, actually all games. Would like to see Kinetic use that to force a site retreat, and maybe you can catch him in rotation. We will have to see here what they want to do. in game 2 of our grand finals. Osley looking for that pick in the mid, but Ali's will just smartly retreat here. Infernos know they can't afford to lose a life early on.
Yeah, but that could be the worry. They might play a little bit too passive because they're afraid of giving away advantages like they gave away in that clutch. Instead, the advantage is ripped away from them by Aquin, and the push just comes straight in. Evan and Prestige each getting one. There it is, back into the 3-on-3, but just as I say it, Southeast again grabs the pick. Prestige the hero in this one there in elbow. Drops the spike, forces WASD to clutch. And this is a situation that I don't think that they'll take lightly. They've got to give everything they've got to stop WASD.
Spike planted.
You have Empress again, and we know what happened last time.
That's true.
Shocked they didn't just rip it here in the 1-on-2. I guess confident they can win without it. But Kinetic will put a quick stop to that one.
That's a great crossfire. They know that Arena will want to look for a fight, because once they win a fight, they can just dismiss right out of there.
Yep.
And that means that they just wait. Perfect patience. Infernos tie it up 11-11 here on map 2. They want to play on. They want to get us to that map 3. And we'll see if they can make it happen. We'll see if Southeast even have the money,
I don't think so.
or if they have to play for overtime.
They're going to have one upgrade from WASD, which with the Empress and the way they've been playing, I don't hate, because you can turn around with a good Empress and that AR. You get a Spectre there from Zyron, but the rest of them have to play for overtime, as you said.
Yeah, this is another partial where they'll have okay money into the last round, even if they lose this one, but they're hoping not to lose it.
They get the knives popped there as well, but it's not going to matter as Aquin gets taken out by Ali's. Empress is up. That's a huge pick. Looking for one more. Just can't quite find it. But it's enough information. They know exactly that the Seminoles are bodied in on A.
Oh, that's the hero rifle gone.
With that,
the rest should just be a cleanup.
Last player standing.
Kinetic's going to pick up one. Orbit at least trades his life, but it's now match point for the Infernos. Get a chance at game 3. And a pretty good econ here for the Seminoles. I don't think they'll have to. They won't get an op. I think that's the only sacrifice they'll have to make. I think.
Yeah. It's like a timeout coming through. They're just going to take their time. Think about this one. First timeout we've seen. I appreciate this.
Yes.
This is a smart decision to be making.
I absolutely love how recently the Esports Tower teams have taken advantage of their timeouts. The Seminoles here, I would assume, have to be that team. You can fix so much in 60 seconds. You don't even realize it. It seems like such a short time, but even just a mental reset is something. I know sometimes with the timeout, you also, maybe you can get your coach to come in and say, hey, this is what's happening, but I love the use of the timeout. We'll see if it pays off, and if we do get overtime. This will be a fun game. This has been a much closer game than I expected, especially after maybe Orbit sandbagging a little bit, saying, oh, yeah, Bind's our worst map. Well, okay.
Yeah, call the timeout, that mental reset, even just take a pee break, or even don't go to the bathroom, wash your hands. Actually, one of the most broken strategies I've found to just reset yourself. You feel fresh. Your finger's the most important thing you use while gaming, so keep them all good, keep ready, keep refreshed, and jump into this one as we jump into the final round of regulation time. Will the Infernos close it out, or will Southeast bring us to OT?
First ult of this round gets popped. The Empress used by WASD. So far, no one's found anything. They do get a concuss onto Aquin, but no one's looking for a punish. That's the first pick, and it's huge for WASD. Pulls the Empress reset as well. Make it 2 more.
Oh.
And it's a 5-on-2 now for the Seminoles.
Yeah, this is a great spot. This is where you either need a hero clutch, or we just go to overtime. Said Evans trying for a kill through the wall. Prestige healing them both on up, and now they're going to send it on into the site. 1v1 duels sort of have to be given away, and Aquin, he takes it. He's got that confidence, winning it out. They are confident that they get OT, even reveal the location. Zed Evans is completely stuffed, swung on by Aquin, and 12-12. We play on Bind.
Switching sides.
Overtime.
Overtime.
The Interesting thing for overtime, especially for Aquin, is you believe you can afford an op, but you cannot afford armor, or maybe even just light armor. I'm curious if he rips it at either time, or if he'll just stick with the ARs as he's done in the last few rounds when his team needs to win 2 back-to-back. And now we actually get a timeout called from the Infernos. And this is great, even though, you know, you're not on match point. You probably had yourself all psyched up. We can win this. Let's go. I like this timeout to reset going into overtime as well. That is a huge call from the Infernos.
Yeah, whoever is calling on that team has to remind them, yes, they had a chance to close it out, but that is all in the past. Forget it. Reset. The score is 0-0. They're playing another game. They have chances to win this one out, but they've got to get that mental reset in, and once they have it, they have the individuals that can do this, but we'll see if they will.
Aquin will rip the no armor op as well.
That's an interesting decision. I like it when they are defending, because just getting opening kills on defense is important. Being able to just have the op and the ability to dash away, really all that you need. You can win any duel even without that armor, because it's a one-shot KO.
Don't know if Zedebrin's cam saw Aquin. This is a huge 1v1 of Reyna's, and WASD gets the headshot in bathrooms. Cozy now will push forward, but it looks like they're going to run away. They hear the op go off, but they are all on A, so they've neutralized the op for now. They need to take numbers advantage while they can. It's a 4-on-2.
Yeah, just such crisp aim coming out from him. I am loving this performance, essentially being the hard carry for their team. Getting healed back up after taking so many flashes, so much damage, and Prestige up close. There it is, one fragger to another. WASD out of the round. Ossily as well wants to get aggressive and can't. And the Infernos have turned this one around, and now this is where the op no armor comes into question. Can you retake with it?
Got Siren up in heaven. Oh, Cozy barely dodges the op and turns it into a great pick onto Siren. And it's all up to Aquin, who has swapped out for the Vandal, but without armor, they are not going to be able to do much. And the Infernos will once again put themselves on match point.
Switching sides.
Now, once again, they get into things. They're able to grab match point, and now this is where Southeast did all that work for the comeback, and now they've got to be thinking, we did all that work, but now it's just another match point again. Perhaps they start getting a little tired after the amount they have already played today. But that's not a good trap to fall in, because if they lose this, they've just got to play even more.
An Inferno's win here, as you just said, will send us to a game 3. If Southeast can tie it up, reset overtime, they could win the whole thing. We're going to get another huge bathroom pick, and once again, the Seminoles pick up that win with Aquin, who has opted now for the more standard AR and full armor buy here in overtime.
Yeah, makes sense on the attacking side. Now I just want to see them dash right in, get that space. Because if they don't get space right now, it's all going to get closed around them. All the rotates in. Infernos all over the site, but Aquin's gotten another one. Ultimate popped. Ossily up into the site, and the Infernos 3-on-5. They've got to try to get this. The one thing that they have is U-Haul. That is a very, very useful position to have there in that lamp room. It's where Kinetic holds. Zed Evans getting a pick. Prestige as well. 3-on-3. They could finish the game right here. Prestige, another one, a second. And now in the 2-on-2, it's Southeast, who really seem on the back foot.
One enemy remaining.
1-on-1, Seekers go out. Osley's got a shorty and a Vandal, gonna get hit and concussed.
Oh.
Prestige will pick up the 4K, and we are going to a game number 3, Fuffy.
Prestige says play on. They keep it going, and they send us to map 3. I am very excited for that.
Well, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, and game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to our industry insights, and with our featured rumbles, recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. We'll head to Split to crown our champion. Again, maybe Orbit was right, but going to overtime on your worst map is nothing to sneeze at. So, Fuffy, before we go to break, I We finally see them on a different map. I'm going to make you make a call. Who wins it on Game 3 from what you've seen tonight, Infernos or Seminoles?
I'm going to be honest. I think either it's a close game and the Infernos win it out, just because I think their individuals are a little bit stronger in these clutch situations. Or I think if Seminoles get a little bit of confidence, their team play will be the ones to win it. Either Seminoles have to roll this one through, they have to just completely ignore that map, just go, it was our worst one, brush it to the side, and if not, the Infernos have the skill. So it's either a close game that Infernos win or Seminoles sweep.
It was our worst map, no worries. We went to overtime, you know. That's
Yeah.
just casual. There you go. Who's it going to be? Both teams looking for a championship. Seminoles looking to be the first high school team ever. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back with Split. Who's our Week 7 champion, the Southeast Seminoles or the Esports Towers Infernos? We'll find out right after this.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Welcome back into the Esports Tower Rumble. It's week number 7. We're broadcasting it live from the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. It is game number 3 off the back of an overtime thriller on Vine. The Infernos come out on top over the Southeast Seminoles, and now we will crown a champion on Split. Fish and Fuffy here calling all of the action. And before we went to break, Fuffy broke it down. He thinks either the Seminoles roll or the Infernos pull it out in a very, very close map. But I have to say, we came in with our players highlighted. We were looking at Prestige and Aquin, but I think we have to give a very special shout-out to WASD. They dropped 30 in that game. Yeah, you have a couple extra rounds, but a 1v3 ace clutch to keep that game going. Absolutely huge for the Seminoles mental, I think.
Yeah, I have a piece of paper right here that I wrote a couple notes on. I just came here with it in my pocket, but I thought I'd pull it out because under WASD, I wrote Reyna, and then right next to that, I wrote flashy plays, and honestly, that is exactly what we saw right there. Just the amount of style, the amount of flair that they can put onto this, and the fact that you have a player that can pop off alongside the consistency of Aquin and Ossily just makes Southeast so dangerous, but the fact that they didn't even close it out is a testament to how good the Infernos are as well, which means that I think we will get a pretty scrappy one here on our final map. Not the home map of the Seminoles as we saw on Ascent, but at the same time not their quote-unquote worst map as we saw there on Bind.
I think the other thing that we really need to highlight, and I think that could go a long way, and I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I think it's Seminoles favored, is the First Bloods, and in particular the First Bloods when it's Ali's fighting. It seemed like Ali's lost a couple of those back-to-back in Bathroom that put his team on the back foot, but he had a couple of huge wins early on. He likes to get aggressive. I'm curious if we'll see Jet or Reyna on split, but I think he's got to make sure he wins those First Blood fights, because if he puts his team in a very unfortunate 5v4 and then Aquin hits an op on the other side of the map, that totally kills that round if you're an Infernos player.
Yeah, that's the struggle with playing Reyna instead of Jet, is that if you just go forward, if you hit it, you can then heal back up and make that First Blood even more impactful. But if you miss, you have no retreat option like Jet does. And that's where Ollie's could become a liability. And that's where some of those rounds really just had to be clutched out by players like Prestige, including that very last round at the end of overtime that we saw Prestige getting, I believe it was a 3K?
4K, I think.
4K,
Yeah.
wow, yeah, even more, just to win that one out. And that's something that I would say you can't really consistently count on, but at the same time, it is a wonderful player there on the side of the Infernos. They've got the stars to do it. It's just they could do even better if they weren't hemorrhaging that opening pick all the time.
Maybe Ali's pops off and makes it even easier for them, but we will see as we get ready to go into Game 3. We'll give them Doc's keys to the game one more time. Focus your angles and flank. Know your win condition. Count cards, call abilities, and, of course, click heads. It's presented today by Esports Tower. Score pro advice at esportstower.com. Improve your game sense, improve your team play, improve your performance under pressure. You'll get matched with great players and professional coaches to help you rake up. Here we go. Let's jump into Split. The Infernos manage a crazy overtime win with some insane plays on both sides. Who will come out on top? And once again, Ali's will be on the Reyna, but we get a couple of changes. We're going to get Cozy on the Jet, which I really, really like, and Prestige on that Sage, which I think is a great fit, though Orbit will change around as well. But I think the big thing, Aquin, WSD, they're going to stay on the double duelist. They'll stay on the Jet Reyna that they have run to perfection so far tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's weird to call myself sort of an old man when it comes to Valorant, but I remember back when everyone thought Sage was so darn broken, and honestly they were, with just how strong that healing was, that wall was. And it was Split especially, where that power of Sage was exaggerated so much that even now in this current meta, we see both teams picking up a Sage to be able to wall off mid, to have just slow orbs to cut off some of these pretty tight corridors. And of course, healing is always a good bonus to have on any side, anywhere.
The one thing between the two Sage picks that I do think favors Infernos is Sage's ult is the one that, of course, you kind of have to have someone die to be able to get value out of, so you can't be the first one getting picked off. On paper, I think that does slightly favor Prestige over Orbit in terms of being in the smart position, not going down first. And I'm curious if that will ever come up where maybe Orbit gets picked off, because Orbit's also, we've only seen them play Cypher. They're used to kind of that, I'm stuck on B or A by myself with my utility. I'm curious how they adapt to more of a team-friendly agent that they have to play.
Yeah, I am curious. I have another point to add to that, but right now, it's just a run straight into B. Not catching it on the cam, but Cozy catching WASD. That is the solo site player. These other two players up close, Aquin able to get one, and now they're just heading on into the retake. It is immediate. Ossily, another. They could even just get this spike right now. Cozy having to play around this Cypher cage. They're up close. Zed Evans, they cannot expect him to be right next to him. Grabs one on the Ghost, and it is only Cozy left now.
Cozy can't stop Ossily, and the full aggro round one does not pay off, and the Seminoles will start up early here.
Yeah, I would say the one worry about having Prestige on that stage, to go back to that discussion we were having before, is the fact that Prestige is so good that you want Prestige involved in opening duels. However, if your Sage is involved in opening duels, it means they're more likely to die.
True.
Like, you can have just the super support Sage and just let them sit back be like Orbitix is and just sort of chill, you know, be the anchor on these defending sides, and on the attacking sides just sit back, use their utility to assist the team, and then once they're all out of it, once it's time for the exec after the default, you know, they can heal up all their teammates, and then they just run in, then they just hold W, be that hard entry, give their life away, and leave the best players in the clutch.
We started with an early B feint from the Infernos. It's going to end up looking like they're going to maybe get a little bit of utility out, and then they'll just retreat. They are trying to play a little cheeky here in mid with a shorty on Ali's, but unfortunately that Sage wall is going to really kill the vibes.
Yeah, it's a smart place to watch because players love to jump up on top of this Sage wall. We'll see, will Orbit go for it? No. Instead, just sitting back, spinning around, looking in the sky.
Oh, maybe when that Sage wall goes down. Unfortunately, Ali's gets caught as soon as it does, but a nice trade-off screen for Cozy. And they're back on B.
Yeah, this is just the go signal. The smokes help them get into sight, and WASD stuck in no man's land. Prestige to finish them to get this spike down. And now that it's into a retake, yes, there's weaker guns on the side of the Infernos, but they can just play close angles, places where the SMG, the pistol, is a lot more dangerous, a lot more valuable. Zed Evans, just a classic, but that's all he needs to right-click Aquan down. Prestige will fall to Zyron, and Orbitix actually getting one as well. Jumping in on top, this last player in the Omen smoke as it fades. Zed Evans not gonna clutch with the classic. And Southeast, they brave a scary second round, and they get out of there with at least 2 players alive.
That was a crazy spray from Orbitix. I wonder if we'll be able to see it there, because that was, I mean,
he just committed to it.
He did, yeah, up in heaven. Right before that, ends up, I think, getting a double kill all the way on site with just a Spectre. That is great gun control for a long-range SMG. That was a phenomenal display of skill there from Orbitix, and showing they're not just a sight holder. They can make some plays when they're needed.
It's scary when, you know, your anchor player has so much skill. I know there's a lot of discussion about the meta with sort of, yes, there are more passive players, but everyone needs to be confident in a fight. Because you do not want to have a weak link in a game like this, in any TAC FPS. You've got to be able to lock down everywhere. Aquan right now, locking it down with the opening pick, but Cozy's gotten one back and gotten all the way up here into heaven. They can just keep going. They get to advance and split into this site. Prestige ready for the wall, but instead they call it off. Just gonna reset. They realize because they have mids, they can just go down ropes. It's actually Southeast who are the ones caught out of position. They have to rotate all the way back into A. And the rotation is even heard through spawn. So it's a double fake. They're coming back to B, but Aquan is sitting here in B main.
It's an interesting play by Aquan. You don't usually expect an op to hold B. Just the sight lines on A are a little easier as Cozy goes down. Somehow Zed Evans survives that, gets a decent bit of damage onto Aquan. They'll put down the wall, they'll put down the orb. That's going to give Prestige some height advantage. Get some healing as well, and now put the timer and the retake on the Seminole side as they push up into heaven and leave 2 more down from spawn.
Yeah, they have the advantage. And they have that jet that could dash in and make space. Everybody else just play around them. I'd say that's the go. The go sign is just as soon as you start pushing in, but as soon as they step on the gas, they immediately crash the car. And Aquan left to run out of there. Hoping they've got some car insurance or something for that one, because that's just not a great round.
I will say, we didn't see this too often in our first 2 games. This is a great save call from Aquan.
Yeah.
You know, you wasted all those credits on an early op. I don't want to say wasted because of how skilled he is. You cannot afford to try and win that round, especially with 20 HP. So I love the call there from the Seminoles. Just get out. Let's reset. That was our bonus anyway. So now we're ready to go. We're going to full gun up here, though. Their eco hurting a little bit more than I expected.
This partial is interesting. I like it, but I don't like the fact that Aquan has nothing.
Aquan has got to get value with this op, really, to make this round worth it.
Next round on their bye, they'll just pop knives. This actually makes a lot more sense with that as the context for it. Default over towards A. This should pull immediate rotates from Southeast. When you're on those low guns, you've got to use that number advantage. Right now, struggling there in the back of the site. Actually, no, Classics, 2 kills, 3 kills on the Classics. Everyone's falling apart. Surrounded, defenders everywhere, and the Infernos just have to wonder what the heck just went wrong. Zed Evans can at least try to get a plan, but Aquin, there's the saved off coming into play. This is looking near flawless.
Wow.
4 players alive, and they win the save.
That was a disaster for the Infernos. Cozy losing knives versus a Classic was really just the omen of that round and what was in store for them. How do you come back from that, Fuffy? 4 Classics in an op. How do you come back from what just went wrong?
I'm gonna
Mentally,
be honest.
at least.
Yeah, what I said about the Seminoles having the ability to just sweep this is where that might come into play. This is where, like, that great team play from them all to just push together, hit the shots required. And if they can do that on defense, it means their offense is probably also going to be scary. Aquin, scary with that op, always finding impact. Another opening. I wish I could see the stats over this entire bracket, as they have done so much in the early round. Always the player to watch. So Kinetic watching the angle that Orbit walks into.
Oh, gets caught.
WASD, though, there to trade him out. That is important.
You will not kill
Nice.
my
And also important res. Ollie's being alive, another ultimate being popped. These ults can make up for the gun disadvantage that they have had, for the map control disadvantage that they have. They're sort of stuck in mid, but there's a gap. They found it. It's over towards A. All 3 players for Southeast have to rotate in. Now they're even walled off. This is a really rough spot for them to try to retake.
Ollie's gets 1 pick to make it a 3-on-2. The spike will go down. Osley's coming in. The Empress gets ripped just in case, and now it's all up to Aquin with that op, and it looks like you can see on the map there, they have no interest in pursuing this. So they will just simply hide out in garage and maybe look for a pick, but that is a huge round win, and it really feels like just throw away everything you know, because that's back-to-back wins where the team with the gun advantage, Fuffy, just can't get it done.
Yeah. Oftentimes when you see someone having to save over and over in a round, you sort of point them out as not really having impact in these rounds, but it's really just credit to the Infernos for mitigating Aquin. Aquin gets openings all across the map, able to find it, but they just go to the other side of the map and they get it done. A thrifty victory and denies the save right at the end. Ollie's creeping up close. And if I'm Southeast, this is a real rough spot. I'm not sure how many timeouts teams get.
What?
But honestly, okay, yeah, I would say if they had more, I would take one now. Or even just take, I'm not sure, not this round, but in the future, if you've heard of it in Counter-Strike, there's a French timeout, the existence timeout, where you're just on, you know, on pistols, no money. You all just sit and spawn and save for like 30 seconds, just take your own timeout and then go in and die. Just sort of a mental reset, I think, is what they might need after losing a rough round.
Still sounds like Aquin didn't lose too much. I believe I heard the op come out on that garage side of B onto Cozy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everyone else is still here in mid, but they haven't found the pick that I think the Infernos wanted. All they do is end up hearing the Empress getting popped, and so they'll rotate over towards A, but it's still very heavily fortified with Zyron watching down A long like a hawk.
Yeah, I like the way that they spread out, because their rotations have been what's killing Southeast. Southeast rotates off of the info that they're given, but Infernos, they leave lurks and they're able to rotate back into these empty sites. And again, they found a site now made empty. Prestige, a nice headshot onto Zyron. And that should be it, barring an amazing double from Osley. Zed Evans looking for a trade, but Osley right there finally traded back, but Orbits is up close.
Oh, no.
He cannot be ready for this one. Found in the back, and 2-on-2. This retake is on. Prestige coming up close for the fight. The off angle is perfect for a headshot. And unless they give away a pick to Aquan, Aquan might opt to save again.
Has the knives. If he does want to drop the op, but he already might have also dropped it for an AR.
Yeah,
Now gonna
coming
come
up
in.
close.
Fake
Taps the bomb in the smoke, comes out for a fight. Prestige will win that fight any day.
Just like that, the Infernos, after a bit of early struggles, have tied us up at 3. And really a phenomenal play. They're denying Aquan that value on B, and I'm very surprised he's not watching A more with an op. And then they're just winning their gunfights in mid.
Perhaps just playing what he's comfortable with on B, but it would make a lot more sense to come over towards A. Maybe that's the adaptation that they make in their next gun round. For this one, it's a partial. You know, Osley's got a Spectre, Aquan's got knives, but that is about it. Aquan up close, but headshot by Cozy. That is the Jet difference, at least in this round. WASD won and done. Slowly but surely, it looks like the Infernos should have this, realizing that Orbit is up close. Good damage onto Ali's. Spike can go down, and in this afterplant, it should be a lock for the Infernos.
Siren will go down. Orbit's looking for a pick. Does end up getting one onto Ali's, and Ali's makes this a one-on-one, but a nice revive there. Ali's should be able to get out.
That ultimate is everything.
But
oh.
shut down by Prestige. The great revive should be able to get a gun as well. And now the Infernos, they're going to buy an op of their own on the Astra of all things.
That is strange. Oh,
maybe just
they sold it.
Yeah, they were baiting us. We were getting excited for nothing. It's like that is a power play if you're gonna rip an op on an Astra.
Yeah, I think I've seen like Cypher, I think Steel when he was on 100 Thieves picking it up, able to, you know, make it work. But that's on defense as well. Like on offense, you don't usually see strange op picks unless perhaps someone has a read. All right, now.
Everybody's over on A.
Yeah.
Even Aquan up in heaven with that op. You can see and hear. Took a couple of shots. Couldn't find anything, though. Prestige chasing on ropes. This would be a huge pick, but a blind puts them in the hole. Aquan's going to get another muzzle stuff with the op.
I love it.
We'll see if they can even get a single elimination here. It's all up to Cozy. They will get taken out. That is a flawless. That is a great answer round for Southeast.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how close some of these are getting with the fact that when Southeast is in position, when they don't over-rotate B and then the spike goes A or vice versa, they're making it look great. All they've got to do is sort of mitigate their own mistakes. They're the ones that can win or lose these rounds. And in that one, we saw their ability to win. Aquan on the op, 3 Phantoms, a Vandal for Osley. And on the other side, Kinetic is the only one who's got a pistol, but perhaps they can pick up a weapon if one of their teammates goes down. Prestige entering with the Sage, and that is their healing gone. That is the struggle of having your best player on that more supportive character, as now it's down to the rest of the Infernos to try to win in the disadvantage.
A bailout on mid. Cozy, though, cannot win a huge gunfight on B against WASD. Now it's up to Kinetic. So you see there, Southeast still hanging out in the mid. They haven't really seen anyone on the Infernos. And the Infernos haven't really made a commitment. They've got to win that fight at least, and Kinetic, I think he just ripped the wall here. That is a great wall to open up B site. Fortunately, WASD will get revived, but a huge punish there with Zed Evans. It's a double, but can't predict Orbit on the other side, and that was the spike as well.
Yeah, because Ollie's got a pick early in the round, they know that Ollie's is in a completely different position. Though they could get the spike, Ollie's could literally just run to the other side of the map if they want. Instead, just through the wall to take the fight. Orbit down, and Siren in the one-on-one comes through with the shot onto Ollie's, wins it out. Southeast getting 2 in a row and starting to get into a more comfortable position after some crazy back and forth rounds we've had recently.
I thought for sure Ali was going to clutch this. Do you rip the Empress there in a 1v1?
Maybe. I would say you get the spike down first, because if
Yeah.
there's a player close, you don't want to take the time to pop it.
True.
And if there isn't a player close, you might as well plant.
Yeah, that was the one thing you kind of alluded to. Oh, man. The op nearly dinks Ali's off the spawn. Cozy does have the knives, so if there's ever an answer for an op, it is the knives, but Siren's waiting right there. Osley's taking some shots as well. Oh, gets the reset. Can't get a second.
Yeah. It's a little bit tough. It's good for them to play together to allow Osley to be up close, trying to escape, and Aquin there to support. Aquin there to get a double. Orbit as well onto him.
Hell of a job.
Southeast, they've gotten the 6 rounds here on their defensive side, potentially even aiming for 8 with a very rough economy coming through for the Infernos. Looks like they might force or possibly a partial here.
Yeah, looks like Cozy's got enough after ripping knives last round to full upgrade. Ali's and Kinetic debating if they want to go outside of the Sheriffs, but I think Prestige and Zed Evan are going to have to hold, so 2.5 there, if you will, plus some light armor. And how about a headshot onto the Opper from the Marshal?
Exactly.
Yeah, Aquin maybe becoming a little bit predictable, and the Cypher ult means that they know where these defenders are on site, so they can just go straight into it. The problem is they go straight into the waiting arms. WASD getting one. Ollie's does have the op, but very low on HP. They just back up. They reset. Going 1 for 1. This is actually a smart decision for them to just pull the plug, because now Southeast have to redisperse. They have to go 2-2, perhaps even 1-1-2, because they need this mid control.
Ali's looking for somebody.
Yeah. This is going to be, I think it's really all onto this next gunfight, but it's a good read for the Infernos, or for Southeast, that the Infernos are rotating.
Ooh.
Oh.
It's a great pick in the smoke.
And now they can rotate again. Honestly, I would say, like, they can just pull one of these hits and just go still. Let Southeast overthink this. Put Ali's with the op just on this rotation angle.
30 seconds left.
And now they just move up together. The thing is, again, because they're rotating from one side of the map to another, they're not pulling this double fake. I was going to say the rotates are there in time, but that doesn't matter. Time cut short for that player. But, oh, 2!
Planted.
That's an amazing pair of shots, but they're going to need another pair of shots to get these last 2 players. First one with the knife out costs them not another ace clutch. Kinetic denies it, and the Infernos
Last round in the
going to
half.
make this one real close.
Guarantee themselves a shot at a tied half. We should get mainly full buys. It looks like Osley's going to have to go with the Guardian on this round. But everyone else should be able to full upgrade here. And I think you're right. That's a great point you made, is Aquin might be just getting too predictable, especially on B, that he's going to hard push up early in garage, look for a pick with that op. The Infernos, it took them 2.5 games, but I think they finally kind of figured out what Aquin's going to do every single time, at least on B.
But if Aquin's smart, that means Aquin just goes somewhere else, sits passive, maybe baits one of these rifles, lets them take the first fight, and then swings in when they're not expecting the op there. That is when the punish can come through. The heal's going to negate the damage that Kinetic just took through that Cypher cage, but they do have to burn so many Cypher cages just to get a little bit of map control that they then immediately lose. Ali's, on the other hand, that is some map control. The problem is they lose their life. WASD hitting that head shot, and the Infernos in a disadvantage in this last round.
Knives do get popped there from Aquin alongside that op. They get a great pick onto Orbitix. That's going to force the rotates for a couple of members. Prestige And to be very careful. WASD's hanging out there, but a great wall.
They're going to res.
Is that the third res of this half?
I believe so. Prestige just
30
really
seconds
coming
left.
through, able to get kills, able to pull ult orbs, and able to pull their team back into this one. Kinetic getting a pick as well. Yes, it's one for WASD,
One
but this
enemy
would have to be a very, very tough one. Siren, the last one alive, and it looks like we're going to go even in this half. I like the bunch up from the Infernos, and yeah, 3 players there to meet them, and so 6-6 is the scoreline as we swap sides and see just how good Southeast can be. This isn't their worst map, as they said that was Bind, but I'm not sure. Will they have the same dangerous attack that we definitely saw out of them on Ascent?
And I wonder if Aquin rips the op on offense here.
I would like that, simply because there's no real op to stop them. Like, if you get an angle smoked off, post up on one specific place, if anyone peeks in, that's no longer a 50-50 duel. That's a 90-10, because Aquin just has to click once and can even dash out of there.
Pistol round is huge here in a 6-6. Southeast looks like they want to just jam it down A, and
Ooh,
they'll
I love
start
it.
that with a great pick.
Yeah, perfect team play. The concussion, able to get Aquin up close, just playing together really well. This is amazing out of Southeast. Aquin even getting more space. Another kill. WASD chiming in as well, and it is flawless.
All right, how about that for an answer to the first round of the half? And it looks like Aquin would probably look for the op based off the save. Everyone else going Spectres.
Yeah, we have seen Infernos really won their rounds off of slow rounds. They got it down to 3-on-3s and then picked where they wanted to go and went together. Forced Southeast to, as I said before, sort of overthink things. But Southeast don't even have to go that far. They don't have to play that, that ratty. Instead, they're just playing together. Their executes are looking amazing. And in this one, they've pulled all the rotates off of B just with that util and those picks, meaning that Aquin can just walk on in. They can get that spike down. And yes, they lose one, but I'm saying this should not be a losable afterplant, especially with only Cozy left.
Cozy did pick up a Spectre to at least have a chance here. Now has to go through ropes up in the mid, and ooh, it's a great utility usage here by Osley.
Yeah.
And just gonna get a great pick as well. Now they're 5 rounds away from the championship.
Yeah, it's a well-timed swing. I really like the way that they, use that concussion to essentially force a timing where after that concussion is used, they know, okay, in about 3 or 4 seconds, if anyone was there, they will have avoided the concussion and then pushed in, and that's when they swing, just in that awkward off timing to get the kill. Such great awareness from these individuals. And so Southeast have an advantage. Now it's a gun round. Zed Evan on an Odin. This is interesting. Cozy looking for a fight. Perhaps they want to replicate what we saw Aquin doing. They are on the Jet, which I haven't seen them play before.
Osley trying to bust down that Sage wall. Knows Prestige is back there.
Ooh, Prestige is a bit stuck. They don't really have a way out of here. Perhaps with a flash from a teammate or just getting smoked off, this can help them. But with so many defenders here congregated at mid, it looks like they just want to fight. Running straight through the smoke is Ollie's, and Zed Evan, on the other hand, has completely locked down B. Only one player left. It's Captain Zyron. Spike is down, and this is all about the damage, because they should have a bye in the next round, as this is sort of the bonus round with these SMGs.
See if Zyron can hurt the Econ. That's a great first pick onto Cozy, but took a ton of damage, and Ollie's will prevent any more from being done. As you said, the Infernos win the bonus round there, so now Southeast gets a full buy. You expect that operator to be in the hands of Aquin, and it exactly will be. That is a huge pickup for them, and now we play at full strength, but Cozy getting picked off actually means he has to go Guardian Light Armor. So that was a huge pick for Zyron, denying another full buy for the Infernos.
Yeah. At this point, I think they just want to replicate what they did in the pistol. They want to set up Aquin in the perfect place, just use a little bit of that util, let this op get posted, and play for the opening. Here it is, Aquin being bodyguarded by one of those rifles. And yeah, no information given away besides that the op is there. No aggressive plays for the Infernos really being allowed. Instead, they just force them all back. As I say that, yeah, they sniff out it perfectly. The one place that was open was B main, so Zyron goes to cover it. Ossily getting that one in middle, and at this point they can go just about anywhere that they want. Advantage here, and another pick coming through. They're just winning every single 1v1 duel.
2 members left. Zed Evan with the Odin. Maybe can make another miracle play. Does not see Osley though. Luckily retreats in time before getting taken out. He's gonna have to run away, but it is a great turn onto Zyron. Kind of got baited by his own team because all of the utility sent Zed Evan back.
Yeah.
Oh,
honestly, I love how good the Odin is. Like, normally you think these massive machine guns not gonna be very useful, especially in a lot of other games where the quicker rifles are used, but it's a dangerous, it's a potent weapon. The thing is, if you get headshot, it doesn't matter how many bullets you have in that clip. You're just gonna go down to the single shot from the rifle. That's exactly what happens. Southeast, they keep a 2-round lead.
And the difference just in the aggression, as you pointed out, the Infernos wanted to play slow on offense. They wanted to make things 3v3. Southeast just wants to take a pick, then they want to run with it as soon as possible and stop that rotation. And they just do it so well, and now we get a half buy here. I think that you can feel the Infernos realize the pressure is mounting against them. And Aquin's going to look for a pick onto Ali's, and it's going to get it. One more onto Zed Evan, though, who's hanging out back of sight.
Yeah, I mean, they should use their utility to clear this out. They should have a flash, yeah. They're able to get it. At least sort of force Zed Evan there into the corner. Keep him stuck. The rotates are coming in. If they delay too much on this exec, it might be a bit of a problem, but if they go silent, the rotates might go back. Yeah, they're just waiting here. Gonna wait out this utility. You do not want to peek into that, Aquin. They will see your feet. Contact made in mid, and WASD has found an A site open. They could rotate back, or they could let WASD just try to come in behind. Zed Evan has dropped the spike, but that will keep attention here towards B main as the flank continues to come through. When will WASD activate in through heaven? There it is. There is the pick onto Prestige, and now Southeast High School in the advantage. Infernos, the ones who have to worry. Ults coming in. Zed Evan does get one completely surrounded. A second onto WASD. The flank has been nullified, and these last 2 players' positions are known. The problem is that the picks are not going the way of the Infernos.
Oh, that is a huge ult. They're trying to rotate away, at least from where their pings are. That's a pick on to Osley.
There's 10 seconds left. Oh no, this could be it.
There it is!
Just won it out in ace! Amazing play. The Ares spraying them down so much damage. We saw him spinning around in that position, in that sort of backside, that entrance position. Just, he holds it down, and then they make the mistake. They have to bring that spike across. They drop it on the pick, not there for the trade. Instead, it's 2 1v1s that he can win out. And the Cypher top fragging keep the Infernos in this.
2 aces in our finals here. And now we'll see, unfortunately, even with that round win, the Econ just so jacked up. The Infernos still have to have a player who has to eco. They'll try and subdue that with the knives being popped by Cozy. in mid. Siren's going to try and bust down that wall, and it's just now simply going to teleport out. And WASD gets another clean win on the First Bloods.
Yeah, they have so much map control. It's smart from the Infernos to try to take this back, take mid back. But at the same time, they have A completely open. They have the pick over on B, which has drawn all the rotates. This is just not a great spot for the Infernos to be in. Aquan gets another one. Goodbye, night-night. Prestige on the rotate, gonna get caught off. WASD as well. I guess Prestige doesn't really get caught off, still wins the duel onto Aquan. And they're gonna have to do a lot more work.
They just gave up B though.
Yeah, it's over-rotates again. And now that Prestige is known to be all the way deep into the site, they can assume that B is likely open, and they are correct in their assumption. Spike can go
30
down,
seconds left.
and this time, Zyron, Prestige, they can't just play the spike. They can't just sort of cut people down one by one. They have to be the ones to push in. And with nothing to do it with, no slow orbs, no cam, no Cypher Cage to block things off, this is going to be very tough.
Great spread. They also have the Sage wall down, so they're going to break it. They have to give away their position.
They should just save. They need to have something into the next round, and their money's going to be really bad. Pushing forward, they're going for a Hail Mary. This is very tough. This just goes to show that maybe the discipline isn't there. As they continue to push in, Zed Evans alone, and they just leave him there to die to the spike. Stuck completely. Attackers, they win it out. Southeast, they're just running a clinic. This is textbook attack. The way that they just rotate, play together as a team, find all of these openings, just little ways to weasel into the flank. They are running circles around the Infernos.
As you said, this is going to force another eco from the Infernos, and now it starts to line up awkwardly because you get a buy round on 11. If you lose this, if you lose on 11, you have to eco on 12. So they need to probably pick up a win either this round on the Thrifty or next round on the buy, and you see Aqua's just going to dash in with the knives, pick up the reset. Does get taken out by Cozy, so the damage is nullified just a little bit at least, but A side is theirs for the taking, and Esla Ali's can do anything, and they cannot.
Yeah, Cozy in through heaven, finds nothing. Prestige, Zed Evan, again, last two alive. It's interesting. It makes sense that the Cypher and Sage would be the more passive ones, but it's just tough because by the time that they're activated into the round, it's in these 2vx situations that they really can't do much.
Prestige can't even get an angle with the fantastic Sage wall down. Does get blinded. Once again, it's themselves and Zed Evan, but Zed Evan might be able to find a big pick. It's a double through the smoke. Prestige looking for some damage, gonna get the healing orb out. Picks up the gun, but unfortunately the animations will doom them, and it's 11-8 in favor of Southeast.
I think this is where things fall apart. This is where Southeast are just on a roll. The Infernos did so much work to pull it back in map 2, but I think they're just getting a little bit tired out. Whereas Southeast, after losing that one, they sort of got reinvigorated. They remembered that they had to give it their all, and that's what they're doing here. Just picking them apart. WASD, again on top of the scoreboard, just showing that amazing rifling. Aquan, maybe not on top of the scoreboard, but so much impact. Ossily up there as well. These 3 star players are doing it all.
Can the Infernos have an answer? Well, early on, it looks to be no, but that's a great trade from Ali's.
That's good. The thing is, they've lost their smokes now. They have no way to stall things out besides perhaps Sage slows. I guess Cypher can do it, but really not a lot of util. Take on to the Astra. Big. And with 4-on-4, I would say this heavily favors the attackers because wherever they rotate, they essentially have a 4-on-2.
I wonder if we're going for the res here for Southeast. Both Sages have the res available. And it looks like Osley's getting a convoy over to the body of Aquan, and that is correct. They'll pull the res up, make it a 5-on-5 or a 5-on-4, and immediately get a huge pick. And they're looking to just take control of this A side. Prestige able to get one back. Ali's with the Empress popped. Does get some
Spike
healing as
planted.
well, but still only at 60 HP. Zed Evans probably going to have to bum rush site and maybe try and get a neural theft off.
Yeah. If nothing's given to them, again, I would say they should hold on to these weapons, but they get the res in. This is the signal to push, though. Punish while that res is happening, but instead Prestige punishes Orbit. Zed Evans another pick, and now they're in the advantage in this retake. Ultimate pop to that ultimate turns the tides.
Player
2
standing.
picks, 3, and it's only Prestige left alive. Coming in, smoked off around this short side.
enemy
They're
remaining.
watching him, but he still gets the pick. Sticking it, he needs at least half here as Ossily is pushing forward, and no, denied. The Infernos, a very good attempt, but an amazing ultimate from
Match point.
Ossily knocks him off their feet and knocks them on to playing against match point. Southeast High School just need one more to win this out.
And the eco for the Infernos, you see it there. There's a Bucky. We are going to get a timeout called by the Infernos. They're going to try and see what they could do. They got a couple of pistols, a Bucky, and an AR or two. And you're right. It was such an odd round because, as you said, all right, you've got 3 up, you've got your ARs, maybe you just fall back for round 12, but they pulled the Sage Res, and the Sage Res should be so punishable. You have such a long animation. I don't know how they did not find Kinetic for the pick, but then, as you said, a huge ult from Osley. One of the players that we're going to have our eye on, mainly for the judge play, but a fantastic call. They ripped that Rolling Thunder, and that turns the entire round and puts the Seminoles on match point.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned the judge there. I feel like Oslily's aim isn't the strongest in my opinion. WASD really takes the cake for that one. Aquin, of course, with some very fast flicks. Osley, instead, it's more about the positioning. They use things like that shotgun because they're less focused on the headshot and more just focused on getting the better positional advantage, you know, playing up close with the shotgun, using the rifle to just hit him in the body, being an annoyance around that site, completely shutting down that retake.
That is huge. The First Bloods have been dominated by the
Aquin
Southeast.
is doing it without an op, too. And now they're just going to go through. They think, oh, no one's going to push that smoke. Just kidding. Aquin is finally punished. Ollie's is there in heaven. But now that they've seen 3 players here towards A, they should realize that they can just rotate back into B. Instead, they're going to go quiet. And they're going to force Infernos actually to reset. This is perfect from them. Now, they again make that noise, and now the rotates come through, but as they do, everyone has their back turned to WASD. A great pick up there. Now they can dismiss, get out here into heaven, an amazing position to overlook the site. They can get this spike down and play out this advantage after plant to win it all.
Prestige and Zed Evan are going to have high ground advantage up here.
Spike planted.
Prestige will end up giving it up, going to rotate down to Kinetic in a 4-on-3. A great slow orb there is going to make Kinetic's job even harder. You've got the Astral Wall, but it's not going to be great here.
Oh, and there's another slow orb, too.
You need a pick and a neural theft, but they're all stacked on top of each other. They're not going to afford you that opportunity.
Maybe some kind of flash to get through. They can hear players in the slow. They're spraying through. Prestige up close, can't connect the shots, and only Kinetic left. You can see just how broken their economy has been. Only a Bulldog as well. Cannot find the kill. It's fitting WASD the top frag to finish it off with a nice headshot as Southeast High School win it out here at the Esports Tower Valorant Rumble.
What a phenomenal performance by this Seminoles team. They're going to be a great matchup against a lot of good teams. I mean, the Infernos, we said, had some free agents, maybe that communication, because you could, at the end there were definitely some moments, but a phenomenal play by the Seminoles. Again, if you want to be seen by expert college recruiters, talk directly to esports industry insiders like pro athletes, team general managers, game producers, then join the club. Esports Tower players get insider access to industry insights with our featured Rumbles. Recruiters are taking notice as well. It's a great way to score exposure if you're looking to start your path to pro or land a collegiate scholarship. As we prepare to put a bow and wrap up this absolutely phenomenal 3-game series that was a lot closer than I think you and I expected maybe coming in. I know we thought that the Seminoles looked like the stronger team on paper. A huge shout out to the Infernos for being able to handle a ton of adversity, survive on bind, and just couldn't quite get it done on split. We lead to our ICCU player of the game. I think there's 3 or 4 probably deserving nominees, and so I'll give you the hardest job, Fuffy, of picking first who you think it should go to.
I would want to say Aquin because of the openings they've got, but honestly, if I've got to guess, it's going to be WASD. Just the amount of kills, like, they provided impact in the later round situations to dig out a lot of these really tough situations that the Seminoles found themselves in. And I think that's why they're the star player here. I think it was inexperience that got them into those bad spots, but WASD just such a great star player to pull them back out, and that's why I think they'll probably be your player of the game.
I think the worst part for WASD is their insane clip is in a losing effort on bind with an insane clutch, and it is actually going to be Aquin, as you said. I think it was really a toss-up between those two. You could throw Osley in there, and I think Zed Evan probably deserves a shout-out for their play in a losing effort, but Aquin just opens up so many openings, as you said, so many great starts, so many. I think they didn't lose a single first blood fight the last 5-6 rounds on split, so they are very, very deserving.
I think Aquin really provides the most impact, even if it doesn't show up on the scoreboard. WASD is in very comfortable positions. You know, they're playing out clutches after their teammates get them all the information. Aquin is the one finding all of that information, finding those openings, and essentially making the space that WASD can then use. So, you know, that's very well-deserved player of the game.
Yeah, player of the game brought to us by Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes a team more successful. It's like Idaho Central's helping members achieve financial success. Aquin is your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. We'll prepare to close this out, Fuffy. Your takeaways from these grand finals, from what we've seen in this Valorant Rumble. I mean, because the Seminoles have set themselves up as a very, very strong team with a lot of individual strength that works well together as a team. But your takeaways here from tonight.
I think this is the perfect storm for the Seminoles. The fact that some of these stronger teams weren't there in that bracket to face them. You know, they still have a tough game to play out, but the fact that they win it sort of proves that they can come back from these more rough situations, and it's good. They didn't just roll, you know, a bunch of, I'd say, less experienced players and, you know, build up false confidence. But at the same time, they didn't just get stomped. They had a little bit of an easier time coming into this one, but that just makes them even more powerful. Now that they've gotten better together as a team, we've sort of seen them improving. Even just over that best-of-3 series, we saw them get better and better, culminating in the win at the end. So I am really excited to see them moving forward as a team.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a perfect storm for them. As you said, it wasn't them rolling lower competition. I think they did benefit from maybe teams like the landslides and maybe the drought not being here, but they have definitely established themselves as a top-tier team, and a huge congratulations to our Southeast Seminoles on winning their first Rumble championship, the first ever high school team invited to the Valorant Rumble, and they showed why they deserve a place here every single time. That team has some incredible players. They showed off some incredible team play, decision-making on their way to the championships, but the Infernos surprised everybody, had a fantastic showing with numerous free agents. All of the teams had some great performances, and we cannot wait to see what they do next week, because this was a ton of fun. If you want to find out how to compete in the Esports Tower Rumble, make sure you visit esportstower.com/Valorant. Congratulations to all of our teams. We will see you next week with more Valorant action. And by the way, we'll see if anyone pulls it out, but Chamber is legal next week, so I cannot wait to see if he will be used and with what power. Now we're going to have our top 5 plays of the game presented by the Idaho Army National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time. More than 10 jobs, offering a $20,000 bonus and your grief choice paid for. The Idaho Army National Guard is one of the best teams out there. Here are your top 5 plays. Congratulations to the Southeast Seminoles from Week 7 in our Valorant Rumble.
It's probably been their weaker side, so this would make sense then. That they'll be very happy with this half. So much of a fight, such a good flash. Osley gets 2, throws down the dog, wants even more. I think they should teleport out of here, but like...
Osley's taking some shots as well. Oh, gets the reset. Can't get a second.
Yeah. It's a little bit tough. It's good for them to play together to allow Osley to be up close, trying to escape, and Aquin there to support. Aquin there to get a double. Orbit not going the way of the Infernos.
Oh, that is a huge ult. They're trying to rotate away, at least from where their pings are. It's a pick on to Osley.
There's 10 seconds left. Oh no, this could be it.
There it is!
Just won it out.
winner.
Surrounded. There's the Empress. Now they just have to go for fights. They have to fight while these Infernos players are split up because now they bunch together. Now the trade should be imminent. I say should, but WASD actually getting that one. Able to dismiss back through the smoke. A second one dismisses again. They're into a one-on-one now. Shots missing all over the place, but it's an ace.